ass offense, missed the playoffs, losing record, and then he goes and watches Tom Brady win in his first year in Tampa Bay. There's no way on God's green earth that he witnesses that, and then it's just like, okay, yeah, well, we'll build for the future. We'll be back in a few years.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WYNG studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, we're off and rolling. How are all of you? Welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We are off and rolling. Hope everyone's had a great day. Got a jam-packed show for you today. Again, like everyone, I keep reading this stupid philosophy. July, it's the dog days this summer. There's no sports to talk about. And I understand where people are coming from is like right now the NBA finals are usually done. This week is usually the dead week in sports. There's no NHL. There's no baseball going on outside of the All-Star game. But after tonight, there's no baseball tomorrow. And I think there's only one game on Thursday. But here's what's all coming up, Kev. The Bengals and the Browns will both report to training camp on July 27th. Today's the 13th. That is 2 weeks from today. Now, this is the first season, I believe, that all teams are at the same time reporting to training camp. So I think that's pretty interesting enough there. But wait, there's some dates coming up that are even sooner. The Cowboys and your Steelers, they will report to camp on July 21st, which is, a week from tomorrow.
Let's get it on.
They have the Hall of Fame game coming up on August 5th, which is 3 weeks from Thursday. So, again, preseason games, I get it, I understand, but you know what? There's so much talk. I mean, look, I love the NFL draft. We all love the NFL draft, and people make fun of preseason games. I don't tune into preseason games to really watch for an outcome. Kev, I watched to see some of the younger players to kind of get an idea of what they're looking like. And for your team, you have a team that right now it's important to see what Mason Rudolph and some of these guys look like in a preseason game. If you don't know what's in the future for after Ben Roethlisberger, you also have guys who are, offensive linemen who are trying to reshape, they're trying to reshape that offensive line. You're having guys fight for spots there. The run game, you're going to get to see Najee Harris in up close and personal here in a few weeks. I know they're limited on starters in that very first Hall of Fame game anyways, but nonetheless, a lot of big dates coming up around the corner. And then plus we're about a month and a half, we're 7 weeks away from the kickoff to the 2021 season for Ohio State football.
Yes, sir.
And we're what is today? Tuesday. We are 3 days away from the second half of the season starting for the Cincinnati Reds, who are hopefully positioning themselves for a very interesting playoff push here in the second half. But yeah, July 27th, NFL training camp, Bengals Browns report to camp, unless Zach Taylor, decides to. Everyone showed up for voluntary mini camp, so we'll just go ahead and give everyone the preseason off. But no, pretty exciting stuff.
Oh man, and a week from today is my mom's birthday, so July is a busy month, and my wife's birthday is coming up this month too. So, and I'm going on vacation this month. I love it.
Well, it's funny. That's a lot in the month of July. May is going to be a very expensive month for me moving forward. My mom's birthday is in May. Mother's Day is in May. Nora's birthday is in May. And Nora and I are getting married on May 14th. So now my anniversary. So Nora's birthday, our anniversary, my mom's birthday, and Mother's Day all in the month of May.
May is very busy for this entire show because my brother's birthday is in May. My sister-in-law's birthday is in May. Mother's Day, obviously, is very important. And my nephew's birthday is in May as well. So May, me and you, we're busy.
But the good thing is stacks on stacks, we make bank here.
Big bank.
In radio. So, let's talk to the common people now, okay, Kev? We're forgetting that the common people are listening to us here today. David Shaw, he brings up a good point. The OHSA, high school football returns as well, volleyball and everything else, soccer and all that. So keep in mind, soccer, but it doesn't matter. High school sports starts very, very soon as well. So I am pretty excited about that. In fact, August 20th will be our first high school game and our high school football game of the week. So that's coming up.
It seems like it's starting earlier and earlier.
Put that up on the website, yeah. You got to utilize all our resources, Kev. Come on now. Let's go. All right. Major League Baseball home run derby versus the NBA three-point contest, or the NBA. No, forget the three-point, the dunk contest. What is the premier event for the NBA All-Star Weekend, by the way? It's not the game itself, but like the dunk contest or the three-point contest?
It used to be the dunk contest, but it's the three-point shootout now.
So the three-point shootout versus,
even though the dunk contest is still last, but I think more people get a wow feeling from the three-point.
Because you're watching the stars actually in the three-point contest, as we've talked about, like Steph Curry and those guys. But that's not very strenuous. So it's not it's for them. They're just out shooting. So, and it's pretty fun for them. Okay. But let's combine the dunk contest and the three-point contest because it's all on the same night versus the home run derby. Which one is a bigger deal? I feel like
All-Star Weekend, Saturday night.
I would have said that till the rule change in the home run derby the last couple of years. Last night, when they added that clock in there and you get the bonus time and you get to earn that bonus time, and there was drama in it last night. I mean, he was 0 for 20 to start things off. And there was, for the first time in a long time that I can remember, which is interestingly enough what the Stephen A. Smith debacle from yesterday really started about, can Ohtani be the face of the league and blah, blah, blah. I can't remember the last time I experienced a star in baseball garner that much attention at an event that does not involve a star retiring. Because all eyes were on Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera and a lot of those guys when they were bidding farewell. Like everyone knew it was Jeter's last All-Star game. Same thing with Rivera. So there was a lot of attention for those guys. But I can't tell you the last time that all eyes were locked in on one superstar in baseball. And last night, that was Ohtani. And I think the pressure got to him early on. But I also told you yesterday, I did not believe that, he was going to be a great Derby hitter, even though he has experience in the Derby. But also the Derby that he had participated in overseas is set up differently. It wasn't timed. This is like you saw the guys I don't know how much you watched.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was swing, ready for the next one. Swing, ready. I mean, they weren't even locked in. They weren't even in a perfect hitter stance because by the time they bring that bat back, they're getting right back in their hand and ready to swing again. So there is a difference in that too. Like even three-point shooters, there are some who are more pop-up three-point shooters versus, grabbing from the hip and popping from there. Sometimes that throws guys off. It's all about the rhythm. So, the clock was around when Frazier won. I know that. I mean, that was I believe the first year that the clock was put in there. I'm just reading someone's comments on here. But the bottom line is I absolutely love the Major League Baseball home run derby. I wasn't big on it years ago before the clock was added to it. I just thought that it kind of got drug on a little too long. Yeah. But with this, it's boom, boom, boom. I love the hit off that Ohtani and that he had against Soto had. I thought it was great. I figured that that's why I did not pick Ohtani to win that last night. And, of course, the guy that I predicted to win won because Kinner knows everything, by the way. So anytime Kinner has the chance to say, I told you so, I'm going to take advantage of that. Pete Alonso with the Mets or whatever, he's an odd duck. He's kind of he's strange, but he's a two-time home run derby champion right now. But your overall thoughts of the derby last night?
It was cool, man. The going up against each other is a cool thing. The clock is cool. I do want to hear from some of our older listeners who don't like the clock, because I think the clock adds that element to it. It adds that, like you said, it speeds up everything. Because I remember watching it as a kid, man, it would seem like the first round would go on forever because it was like the outs, right? You would get like X amount of outs or whatever. And
you would take pitches and you would.
Yeah. So now it increases the amount of swings that guys are getting and it keeps things moving. And in today's society where, attention spans are very little, that helps things. That helps people stay locked in and everything like that. And not to mention, these dudes are hitting some bombs. Like somebody would hit 5'10", right? A 5'10" bomb. So without digging his cleats in and everything like that, it's a sight to see, man. I remember as a kid, my grandmother used to take me and my brother to Cleveland baseball team games down at the old stadium, and we would get there super early, and we would watch Corey Snyder, who was not known as a home run hitter, but he would rake and warm-ups and everything like that. So when these guys get in a groove and power hitters like this get in a groove, man, like that's what it's about. It's about seeing these guys hit the ball out of the park and see things that you don't see on a normal basis, man. So it was cool for baseball the night that they really have all to themselves, in a normal baseball season or regular season, everything like that. There's a million games going on. So for you to be locked in on one event for baseball, they do right. baseball does it right. They show their stars a lot of love, and their stars playing these games, and they participate in these competitions.
I think last night was way more important than tonight's All-Star game because, I mean, everyone kind of blends in together when they're out on the field all together. It's where last night you kind of got to learn about some of these guys individually. Everything was locked in on Ohtani. It's going to be hard to be locked in on him tonight. I mean, it will be. He's the talk of the All-Star weekend, of course. He's the starting pitcher for the American League. He's going to lead off for the American League. He, was in the home run derby last night. I mean,
serving popcorn.
This whole week has been about Shohei Ohtani, and rightfully so. But like last night was so important because it did put him in a spotlight all by himself. And for those who weren't familiar with him, or maybe we're just hearing his name a lot, and we're starting to pick up on the buzz that was being created around him. It's ironic about the Stephen A. Smith rant is that he went on about how he believed that this guy couldn't be the face of baseball, but ultimately I still think Stephen A.'s comments almost made him an even bigger star because you had even more people tuning in to see, okay, what's all the hype about? What is everyone getting so fired up about? Last night was huge for baseball because I think even not just him, but like with, you look at Pete Alonso and you look at Trevor Story and you look at those guys that participate, you're getting one-on-one time with those guys. Right. You don't really get one-on-one time during a game per se, but last night there was one-on-one time with these hitters. I think that's such a big deal for a sport where me as a Reds fan, us as regional baseball fans, we don't see the Angels ever.
Right.
Like we're not going to watch the Angels in the second half of the season. Maybe we will now because we got up close and personal with their star, and we feel more connected to that star now. Same thing with the Mets. We're going to see the Mets though in the second half, but I'm talking about some of those American League players that we don't get a chance to see. We don't know who some of them are. We're familiar with their names. We see them on the All-Star lineup every year, but we don't watch a lot of these American League teams religiously. I mean, there's the diehard baseball fans that do. But what's interesting about all of this is you get that one-on-one time. In the NBA, it's not as important. It's important because it gets the product in a different light, and you get the one-on-one time with them. But you get to watch. If you're a Pacers fan, you can every dunk contest contestant you will get to watch at your home arena at some point throughout the year. For us, for Ohtani last night, that might be the last we see of him until highlights on SportsCenter or next year's home run derby. So that's why last night was so important, is because it puts the stars on display and you get that one-on-one time. I thought last night was a huge deal for baseball because you're seeing some of the bigger stars who are coming out. I think it's a bigger deal when stars reject the All-Star game in baseball than when any other sport does it, because sometimes this is the only chance for fans to get to see who these guys are, which is why I think it's a problem when you have a lot of these guys who are opting out of the All-Star game. The only one I have no issue with is DeGrom, because he's already had some health scares, and there is no reason for him to go out there and waste pitches and waste warming up and waste actual, innings out on the field when he is already vulnerable right now due to those. So again, I don't have an issue with it, but I did find that last night very entertaining for people who, I talk so much bad about the sport because the only time we ever talk about the sport outside of the Reds is some kind of scandal. So it was nice last night to watch something Major League Baseball related that didn't have anything to do with the players union against, the front offices. It didn't have to do with the banging trash cans, cheating scandals, Pete Rose. It was nothing like that. It was strictly about the star players. And I can't tell you the last time baseball was on that type of platform with all eyes on the platform strictly for the players themselves. That was a huge win for baseball last night.
Do you think the average fan still cares about, guys hustling like Pete Rose did in the All-Star game back in the day? Do they still care about that? Like, is it like still like National League and American League pride on the line like it used to be back in the day? Like, do people really still think like that?
For one, if you're talking about hustling, my gosh, we were watching guys out of breath from a home run derby last night. So, professional athletes couldn't catch their breath from swinging a baseball bat. I'm not saying that bat's not heavy and that it doesn't wear you out, but you're professional athletes. Come on now, you're not going to get sympathy from me on that. But yeah, I think, I don't know. There's so much money involved now that I think it used to be. There's no secret. You watch highlights from some of them All-Star games in the 70s and 80s or what have you. You had guys who were diving into home. You had guys who were diving into second and third, trying to advance runners. Now it's, I'm going to take a couple swings. If I strike out, fine. If I get on base, fine. I'm going to be mic'd up. I'm going to be talking with ESPN, with the commentators. I'm not saying that they don't care about it, but I don't think that their competitive juices are flowing at an all-time high when they're out on the field.
I just remember back in the day, especially in the NFL, when like in the 90s, I want to say like the NFC won like I want to say 5-6 Super Bowls in a row, and especially the NFC East. The Cowboys had won like back to back, and the Washington football team won. The Giants that came off beating the Buffalo Bills and everything like that. Basically, the NFC East took their turns beating the Bills in the Super Bowl, and it was like, oh, the NFC is dominating, the NFC pride, the NFC this, NFC that. I don't see that anymore in sports. I really just see guys rooting or people rooting for their teams. Like, but I do remember like that used to be a thing, like people rooting for their conference. Like, well, I'm an NFC guy. Well, I'm a AL Central guy. Like, I just kind of like how we talk about SEC football. Like, it used to be a thing in pro baseball and NFL as well. I don't see that anymore.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Shaw said the 2019 Home Run Derby was the last time MLB was in show like that or was on show like that. I would disagree because that was in Cleveland, right? I believe so. And look, I'm not saying that All-Star game wasn't entertaining to watch, but who was the draw that year? There's not always a draw. Baseball hasn't had a draw for a long time. The last draw was when Mariano Rivera retired and Derek Jeter retired. They've been searching for that next big thing since then. Everyone keeps pounding the drum of obviously you look at Mike Trout with the Angels, but like he's not a draw to me. He's one of those guys where okay, he's in town. Let's go see him this weekend, but we're not going to stop everything. Ohtani right now is reaching that point of no one stops. They were doing like a pan shot of so I saw some cool videos on social media. Every time a batter was up during the Home Run Derby, they would do a pan shot of the stadium, and you could see people up and walking around and kind of going to the bathroom and going to concessions and all that. You could see the concession workers walking up and down. So then they showed the shots of when Ohtani was up. There was zero movement in the stands. There was nobody walking up and down the stairs. There was no vendor. They zoomed in on some vendors who had stopped and were turning around and watching the game, which you're not supposed to. You're instructed to keep moving. The vendors had stopped. The guys who were bringing the beer up and down the stairs. So I thought that was cool. I didn't that really had me locked in on, oh man, this is different. Ohtani is different. And it's not because he doesn't speak English. I know yesterday I had said that, Steve and I kind of understood where he was coming from with talking about the language barrier being that. But you've said it yesterday. If you could ball, you could ball, and this guy's just different. There's a lot of guys. Well, if you could ball, you could ball. Numbers aren't everything,
right?
This guy has the complete package. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If numbers were everything, Trout would be a draw. I don't think he's necessarily a draw. I think he's an option to go watch. I mean, he's a better option than most to go watching baseball. And if you're into stats, follow the box score. But if you want to draw, there's not many in baseball. Aaron Judge is one. I would have loved to see Judge against Ohtani. That would have been something special right there. But Ohtani's the only draw in baseball right now. The only guy that you could say, I have to see him. I have to stop what I'm doing. So Ohtani now is the best and worst thing of Major League Baseball, because back then it was Sammy Sosa was a draw. Mark McGwire was a draw. Barry Bonds was a draw. Alex Rodriguez was a draw. You had Jeter. You had draws all over the place. There's no draw in Major League Baseball right now outside of Ohtani. So last night it kind of reminded me of, he's the best and worst thing of baseball, because he's reminding you there's only one of me. There's nobody else like me. To where back in the 90s, 2000s, for me growing up, every night you could turn on a game. There was Griffey, there was Sosa, there was Bonds, there was McGwire, there was Rodriguez, there was somebody. There's good players today. Great statistical players, but there's no draws outside of Ohtani.
Well, the guys you mentioned in the 2000s and the 90s, they all had personality. Even like with Mark McGwire, he was helped by Sammy Sosa because Sosa had a personality. Mark McGwire was hey man, I'm just here to play baseball type of guy. But that battle that they were in trying to chase that home run record, that brought the personality out in Mark McGwire. Mm-hmm. And in today's baseball, I mean, who you have like personality wise? Tatis Jr., Tim Anderson. I really can't think of anybody else that has a big personality that you recognize because they have a big personality and they play well on the field. A person that I loved as a kid was Ricky Henderson. Today, I'm the greatest in the world. You don't have guys talking like that, especially in baseball. So personality for the average person out there, and for kids coming up and learning the game and everything like that, personality goes a long way to rope you into the game, and then the actual skill of the game keeps you there for the long haul. But you need to have a personality to hook you. You got to have that hook, and a lot of guys in baseball, they really don't have that hook right now.
Yeah, and Shaw says, I disagree, no disrespect, but you have Acuna, Trout, Tatis Jr., and there are others. Again, statistical great. I mean, they're statistically great. Tatis Jr. is the only one I'd probably give that. He's not at Ohtani's level, but I would put him probably second.
He has a personality.
He has that
flair.
Personality.
Judge has a little bit of flair. I don't really know about personality.
But the look, though, too, like that matters.
Like defensive end.
That matters. Like Jose Altuve, I don't care if the dude hits 500 for the rest of his career. He's my height. Like, we're not like turning heads when we walk in a room, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Judge just looks like a professional athlete. Some of the guys today in baseball, they just look like your everyday common dude walking up, which is fine. Some people say that that's why you should relate to these players because they look like you. No, when I want to watch professional athletes, I want to watch like dudes that are 6'5", 6'6", 200 plus pounds, and they just look like someone that's not someone you're going to run into on the streets. That's all. That's why Aaron Judge has that look. Tatis Jr. has the personality to match what he has. So there's that. Like, for instance, a guy that I think would actually be a star today. I think Gary Sheffield kind of got lost in the mix amongst all the stars he played. Gary Sheffield would be one of the best players in baseball today if he played. That batting stance, he stood out. I loved Gary Sheffield. He was my favorite player. He just was a badass. Gary Sheffield just looked like a badass, right? That's what you need. I'm sorry. And by the way, stop bringing up Trout, Shaw. Trout, statistically, great. He's not, no one's dropping everything to go watch him. Last night, everyone dropped everything to go watch Ohtani. That's where I'm at with that.
Even pitchers had, that swagger, that style, that thing that you want to watch. I mean, Kurt Schilling, when he got up on that mound, you wanted to see it. You wanted to see
Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
Randy freaking Johnson.
Yeah, you throwing people to the ground, Pedro, in the playoffs. Like that brings in the average
old
fan.
Man. He took an old bald man and threw him to the ground.
Hey, man, it brings the average fan in because, I consider myself an average baseball fan at best. I don't watch a ton of baseball outside of the team that I root for, but like those matchups with Pedro versus the Yankees and everything like that, I'm locking in. I'm watching. I watched that entire game, the Bloody Sock game. Like, that's an event. And right now, baseball really doesn't have too many events like that. People are stopping everything that they're doing. Like you talked about earlier in the week, baseball is very regionalized. Like, we talk a ton of Reds. That's really it. We're not talking about what's going on with the Yankees and how they're struggling and everything like that. We're not talking about, oh, man, the Mets look like they're going to be doing some damage maybe in the second half if DeGrom can keep it going. DeGrom is having one of the best baseball seasons from a pitcher of all time. We're not talking about that here. But because they don't have that personality, they don't have that flair. Flair sells, man. Flair sells. And I am the biggest person that says, man, hey, man, it's all about what you do on the court. It don't matter all that off the court stuff, off the field stuff. But for the average person to rope them in, you got to have that it factor. It factor sales.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We'll step away for a few. We got over-under coming up around the corner. Also, Obi one and done. Already trade scenarios popping up that involve the former Dayton Flyer. I told you we did over-under a while back. Over-under one more season. Obi Toppin with the New York Knicks. I said I don't believe he will be with the Knicks. I believe he will be used in a trade to acquire another star in New York. And that seems to be kind of the rumblings around the National Basketball Association. So we have that coming up around the corner as well. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 83. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, also with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 85. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the one standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you're you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Napa know-how.
Get 20% off 3 or more items with the $2.99 Napa Bucket. Yep, save on wipers, headlights, brake pads, motor oil. Wait, how long is this list? Wow, floor mats, boat batteries, towing parts. I'm not sure we have time to read all this. Let's just say save 20% on a lot. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 7/31/21.
O'Reilly.
Ready for your next road trip? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need to stay safe while traveling. Visibility on the road is so important and so easy to achieve. Get your windshield streak-free and crystal clear with Blue Magic Glass Cleaner. On sale now, 2 for $5. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The legend, John Fogerty, performing live. This Friday night, Rose Music Center at the Heights. John plays all the biggest hits from Creedence Clearwater Revival. And on the same night, John performs solo hits as well. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
It's time for some straight talk. We've all been there. You have some real work to do, but the free Wi-Fi where you're working isn't going to cut it. It's like leaving the winning runner stranded on third base. Not good. Well, now you can be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month. All on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Audible delivers everything you love listening to all in one app. Stream the newest releases, bestsellers, Audible originals, popular podcasts, and more. Start listening free with a 30-day trial at audible.com.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
I'm really ready for this rain to go away, but at the same time, I have saved a lot of money over the last 2 weeks thanks to this rain just continuously coming in and dumping in throughout the day. I haven't been able to golf as much, which every time I get to the end of the week for the money we set aside, why do we have so much money left over? Oh, it's just because I haven't been golfing. So thanks a lot, weather.
You cut the grass yesterday?
No, raining. Also, that does come in handy. Saving money and not having to do yard work. I love the rain. I'm going to move to Seattle.
Dude, my grass is like up to my shin now, dude. It's getting bad out there. But it's soggy. It's mud out there. I'm not about to be doing the yard in mud. Just can't. Just won't. Refuse. And she keeps looking at me like, we're going to get a sign in the yard. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Cut the mud?
Sign in the yard. Let them put a sign in it. And that's where I was telling her, I'm like, well, when they put the sign in the yard, I know it's time to mow. That's the community reminding you that you need to cut your grass. So, it's kind of like when you get that email, hey, your car insurance bill's due on this date, or hey, I'm just saying it's them reminding you to cut your grass. That's all. It's not a threatening thing. At least I'd like to believe so.
Might want to read the fine print.
Nah. Signs are signs. It is what it is. So last night, home run derby, Shohei Ohtani. Again, he's been in the headlines a lot for his play and just how it's the closest thing to Babe Ruth we have seen since Babe Ruth, right? Of course, his name was in the headlines a lot yesterday due to the comments made by Stephen A. Smith on First Take. So that's generated a lot of headlines in response in regards to his name. But Ohtani last night, really kind of popped in my head that he is the best and the worst thing about Major League Baseball through no fault of his own. He has basically last night made me realize that there is only one Shohei Ohtani. Not just saying one guy with that name, but he is the only draw in baseball, the only significant draw in baseball, the only guy that has any kind of resemblance of what I grew up watching in the 90s and the 2000s, as far as, man, every time I remember, I'd be paying attention to who's coming to Great American Ballpark this year. When can we go watch Sammy Sosa? When can we go watch Alex Rodriguez? When can we go watch Albert Pujols? When can we go watch those guys? There's very good players in baseball. There's guys there's names you could spit out in baseball, but are you dropping everything to go watch some of these individuals? Is Mike Trout a drop everything to go see kind of guy? Maybe for some of you listening, you're like, yes, he is for me. But I think if you asked thousands of people, I don't think that there's really anyone in baseball outside of one, Shohei Ohtani, that is, I got to stop what I'm doing to go watch that individual. So that's where I'm coming at with this is, again, there's a lot of great statistical players in baseball, just like there's a lot of great statistical NBA players. Who's the guy that you really like? Zach LaVine. Mm-hmm. I don't find him to be a draw. I'm not dropping what I'm doing to go watch the dude play. I also didn't realize he was averaging almost 30 points a game this season. And I'm like, but he's just not a draw. But he has the it fight. He has the size. He can dunk, the athleticism, the stats now. But you're not dropping everything to go him. His stats are better than Zion Williams, but you'll drop everything to go watch Zion before you would Zach LaVine, right? So that's kind of what I mean is there's always great statistical guys out there. It doesn't mean that you are dropping, that the vast majority of fans will drop what they're doing to go watch them. That's a perfect example of LaVine's numbers are better than who'd I just say? Zion. See, he was such a big draw, I forgot his name. But no, Zion, I'm sorry. But everyone will go watch him before they go watch Zach LaVine. I'll go watch one of the Ball kids before I go watch Zach LaVine. And LaVine's better than both. So that's all. That's no disrespect.
Which one you want on your team, though?
Oh, the rookie of the year. The rookie of the year, point guard. But that's but either will be fine. The one's leading the USA to a very embarrassing games right now, so I'm just saying. But with all that being said, I just, and Shaw came out through a bunch of names like, Acuna Jr., and Trout and Tatis Jr. I'll put, if I had to rank the biggest draws in baseball, I think there's the main one, Shohei Ohtani. He's the only one. I mean, we saw it last night. I have to find that video and tweet it out. It was awesome. So they did this video, and they did a pan shot of the stadium when every hitter was up during the home run derby. Everyone, the vast majority, everyone's watching, but you see just the aisles just busy. People walking up and down. I hate at ball games, there's no safe spot, right? Like you're always having to do the thing where you put your legs to the side so people can walk in and out. Or on a really hot day, you just get up because you don't want someone to accidentally rub up against you. It's, I hate it. And you saw a ton of that. People moving constantly. It just looked like from an aerial shot, a bunch of just ants just moving all over the place. Then they showed the aerial shot of when Ohtani was up. It was still. There was no movement. No one had to pee. No one had to go number 2. No one needed a beer. No one needed a hot dog. No one needed cotton candy. No one needed peanuts. No one needed anything when Ohtani was up to bat. But everyone else, just that dude. He's good. Whatever. Alonso, I got to pee. I got to go. Everyone else was up to bat. Everyone else that was up to bat, all stars, all draws, right, in the eyes of some of the arguments that are being made by Shaw. But there's only one that made everyone hold it, literally, figuratively. And, from a health standpoint, almost to a dangerous standpoint, right? So that's my point about and back in the 80s, 90s, I'm not moving if Barry Bonds is up to bat. I'm not moving if Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire is up to bat. I'm not moving if Alex Rodriguez is up to bat. There's a lot of guys you can get up and move around for. I'll see them when they're up to bat next. I'll just, whatever. It is what there's a lot of whatever. And, he's talking about Acuna doesn't have personality. Well, Acuna Matata. I don't care about Acuna. I do care. I feel bad that he had that season-ending injury. Very, very good player, but I don't think that anyone's stopping what they're doing to go watch Acuna. Now, he then brings up, then why are the stands full when he hits the road? Well, Shaw, the stands aren't full because he's hitting the road. The stands are full because the Braves are a very, very popular baseball team. The Braves are one of the few teams growing up that had nationally televised games on the daily, right? Like TBS.
Yep.
I remember growing up and everyone would be like, oh, who's your team? I'm like, oh, I'm a huge Braves fan. Well, how are you a Braves fan? You're from Texas. You don't like the Rangers. You don't like the Astros. I was a Braves fan because, as I've shared this many times, my grandma was a diehard Braves fan because the Braves were on TBS every single night. And that's what we watched every single night when I, basically stayed at my grandma's all the time. And why? So that's the case all over the place. People from Texas, California, everywhere is one of the few teams that had a nationally televised schedule every single year. Same thing with the Cubs for one, it's just a popular franchise in general, but there's that. So that's what I'm trying to say is, yes, Acuna is a star and, he's a very good player, but he's a Zach Levine. Very good statistically. He'll put on a show for you if you're there and you just happen to look over and there he is with a bat in his hand. But you're not saying, Zach Levine's in town. I got to get to the arena. Acuna Jr.'s in town. No, they'll put on a show for you if you're there, but you're not dropping what you are. I'd rather watch Ohtani strike out in 5 straight at-bats than watch Acuna Jr. go 5 for 5. That's just the reality of it.
Whoa. That's okay.
I mean, Ohtani was the star last night, and he had no home runs a minute and a half into the damn Derby. And it was still a better show than half the people that hit over 30. Like the winner. Did I tell you that I picked him, by the way? I'm just throwing that out there. Anyways, he says the question was actually for Trout. No, your question was actually for Acuna because that's what you said. It was Acuna. But anyways, all right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. What?
We got Dickie on the line.
Dickie!
Hey!
Hey, how are you?
Oh, man, Justin, can you believe the Reds?
I cannot believe it. 6 games above 500, 4 games out of the NL Central, the 3.5 games out of the wild card, and people actually care about the Reds in July. Dickie, it's a miracle.
It is, and I'm telling you what, I noticed in the other division, tell Kevin, the Indians are in the same boat. They're about the same.
Dickie, tell Kevin he's right here.
I'm right here.
Yeah, Kevin, you know what I'd like to see? That they come down, we have an I-71, I-75 series. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the Reds beat them already, right? The Reds beat.
They have a makeup game coming up. They do have a makeup game.
Right. Where is it?
I think it's at Cleveland, if I'm not. But yeah, it's coming up on August 9th.
Okay.
August 9th. But I think it would be nice. I bet you'd get a lot of fans.
But they play every year, Dickie. They play 2 in Cleveland, 2 in Cincinnati.
I'd like to see it all. What do you think of the Ohio series in baseball?
It's every year, Dickie.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
But I like it. I like the fact that they're American League, National League teams, and they're on the schedule every year. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. And another thing too, I still think if the Bengals stay healthy, I think with Burrow, do you think they'll win 8 or 9 games this year?
No, but not because of Burrow, Dickie. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I'll never say anything bad about Joe Burrow. But But I don't trust the units around him. I don't think they address the offensive line properly. We're assuming that the rookie wide receiver they drafted is going to be a star. Everyone just keeps putting him in the Pro Bowl automatically in the Hall of Fame, which the Bengals only have one in the Hall of Fame. So that's kind of generous. But I just think until we see it actually play out on the field, I'm not going to put any stock into the wide receiver they drafted. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I just don't trust that offensive line. I don't see where those wins are coming from. They're on their way, though. Once you have your quarterback, that's the most important piece. So I think they're close.
Do you think the Browns will have a good year?
Oh, heck yeah. Absolutely, Dickie. I mean, they're winning that division.
You think so?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? They have the best roster in football.
Yeah. Well, what's their chance, you think, now? They beat Pittsburgh twice. You think they'll beat them again?
Oh, heck yeah. Pittsburgh. I mean, did you know that's Kevin's team, Dickie?
Yeah.
Well, can you believe people like Kevin exist? Steelers fans.
Hey, I wanted to tell you, too, we had a show Monday, the Beaver Creek Strummers.
Uh-huh.
It was really good. It was good.
How many times have you guys performed this summer?
Huh?
How many times have you guys performed?
We got ringed out once, and then we're going to play one at Incarnation. That should be good. That's up there in August. And I forgot to tell you, we made the debut. There was only about 12 of us at the banjo, in Xenia, Clifton Opera House, and we had quite a crowd. We had about 45 people.
No kidding. I'm happy for you that you were able to get back out and start performing again. I bet last year was a painful year, huh?
Yeah, it was. It really was.
But hey, Dickie,
now things are slowing down at Lowe's after the 4th. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
With rain and stuff. We've been busy, but you don't get a lot of people in the rain to come over.
No, absolutely not. When it rains, I'm staying inside. I ain't coming out. But Dickie, give us this on your way out. Do we have the Reds have the Brewers this weekend? Are they sweeping them, taking 2 or 3? What are they doing?
I say 2 or 3. I say 2 or 3. Justin, what do you think, Kevin?
2 or 3 for sure. Their Reds are hot right now. It's time for them to take advantage of every opportunity they have, and this is coming up this week after the All-Star break. I think the Reds get 2 or 3.
I want to know another thing, Kevin. What do you think about this year? Since LeBron's gone, do you think the Cavaliers will be better this year?
No, they're about to trade their only good player. Sexton.
Oh, who's that?
Colin Sexton will be the point guard for the New York Knicks next year, and he's their only watchable player that they have on their team, and he'll be playing for another team next year. And I think Colin Sexton is going to fit excellent with Coach Tibbs because he plays hard every single night. Coach Tibbs coaches his guys hard. He plays them a ton of minutes, so I think that Colin Sexton is going to be real good next year with the Knicks, just not with the Cavs.
Yeah.
All right, Dickie.
Another thing, Justin,
is your last
Jimmy
thing.
or Doug called in?
Yes, they said to tell you hello.
Oh, they did?
Every time.
Every time?
Everybody knows who you are, Dickie. You light up every room you walk into, buddy. But hey, I appreciate you calling. It's great hearing your voice. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Take care. Go Reds. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Scott Campbell says, man, I haven't heard Dick call into a sports show in a long time. Nature is healing. So there you go. Dickie, I've never heard the dude in a bad mood. In fact, the only guy we talked to that was in a good mood during the pandemic, Dickie, would call in with the same excitement in his voice, no matter what was going on out there. So there you go. All right, little over-under coming up. We'll get to over-under at the top of the hour. Obi one and done. Could Obi be coming back to Ohio? We'll talk about that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
It's time for some straight talk. We've all been there. You have some real work to do, but the free Wi-Fi where you're working isn't going to cut it. It's like leaving the winning runner stranded on third base. Not good. Well, now you can be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month. All on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it. And rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
Napa know-how.
Why save $20 on a Napa automotive battery? Because nobody likes bad starts. You know, like forgetting your job interviewer's name or saying I love you on a first date. So get a good start with a Napa automotive battery at your local Napa Auto Parts store or Auto Care Center. Plus, get $20 back. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 7/31/21.
You know, a few days ago while hanging out with my family, I noticed my father staring blankly at me. Something's not right, I thought. Is he having a stroke? Then I remembered to act fast, F-A-S-T, and did this quick test. F, face. I asked my father to smile. One side of his face drooped. A, arm. I asked him to lift both arms, no problem there. S, speech. I asked him to repeat a phrase. His speaking was slurred. T, time. I called 911 for immediate help. This way, he began receiving life-saving treatment in the ambulance. My father was out of the hospital in a few days, all because he made it to the hospital within an hour of his stroke. Practice recognizing the signs of a stroke so that you can act F-A-S-T, fast, to save a loved one.
This message is brought to you by the Ohio Department of Health's Coverdell Stroke Program.
Do you have an old sports program, baseball, photo, ticket, or game-used equipment just collecting dust? Sports Investments wants to buy your sports memorabilia. They're also interested in old sports cards and also buying political, aviation, and entertainment items. Bring your collectibles to Sports Investments and get a fair value on the spot. If you decide to sell, they'll pay you immediately. Sports Investments is the largest buyer of memorabilia and cards in the area since 1993. Sports Investments also feature the best selection of autographed memorabilia, sports cards, and other collectible items for sale, including all your favorites like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Bengals, the Browns, the Big Red Machine, UC, XU, UK, NKU, UD, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, just to name a few. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
With double the seasoned beef and a large drink all for $5, Taco Bell's Grande Nachos truly deserves a Grande intro, perhaps with a Grande beat box. Said it's crunchy, cheesy, beef. Actually, that sounded better in my head. Go get the $5 Grande Nachos before they make every exit. Nope, only at Taco Bell. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes. Double the seasoned beef as compared to the Nachos Bell Grande.
As a dentist, I know what my patients are saying during times when they really can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
She says her gums are irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can do? Absolutely. You can try New Crest Advanced Gum Restore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, New Crest Advanced Gum Restore. It detoxifies below the gum line to restore your gums back to health in just 7 days. Exactly. Healthy gums, healthy mouth.
New Crest Advanced Gum Restore. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Audible delivers everything you love listening to all in one app. Stream the newest releases, bestsellers, Audible originals, popular podcasts, and more. Start listening free with a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we're back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Evan Damerol, NBA reporter on Twitter, says that per Shams, the New York Knicks are the most aggressive Colin Sexton suitor. Colin Sexton, of course, the star point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who, I think is probably the best star that the Cavs have developed probably since Kyrie Irving. I mean, what's the last star that they developed?
Yeah, Kyrie.
Because keep in mind, like when LeBron left, they fudged up a lot of draft picks. Kyrie's the only one that really took off. LeBron comes back, and then it was a lot of reshuffling the roster with free agents and that type of deal. But Colin Sexton, through all the mess that has been the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've developed him, and he's a fine player. And there were stints, remember at the beginning of the season, they were playing really good basketball, and I was starting to buy in, and they looked the part, and he looked the part, and he remained looking the part the rest of the year, but Cleveland just got worse as it went on. And that's why I just have no faith in that Cleveland Cavaliers organization. I just don't get it. But he's the first player that they have developed since Kyrie Irving, and his name is being floated around in trade discussions. The Cavaliers are actively looking to move him. And I don't understand that. I really, really don't understand that. You know how tough it is to find a point guard in the National Basketball Association? It is very, very tough. And you know what you can't win in the NBA without is a point guard. And a point guard that can carry you offensively at times. It's not like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s where you needed a distributor. All right, you need a scorer. And the point guard naturally more times than not has the ball in their hands more times than anybody else. So it's kind of nice in today's NBA when teams are averaging close to 115 a game. I mean, we talked about it. The worst scoring team in basketball this year, Kev, averaged 102. And that, by the way, would have led the NBA in scoring in the 90s and the early 2000s. Like every team in the NBA averaged over 100 points per game. Every team. Isn't that crazy? The highest scoring team in the NBA, it was about 120 a game. I mean, it's like, you got to be kidding me. So, but you have to have a star point guard to be able to do a scoring point guard. The Cavs have that. Once you have that piece of the puzzle, you're one step closer to having a formidable roster. I just don't get it. The Cavs have a decent draft pick. I would package that in Garland and go get somebody. I like him on Shumpert. I like the guys that they have. So I don't understand what they're doing here, to be honest with you. I'm just not a fan of that.
From my buddies that still live in Cleveland, from everything that they tell me, the Cavs like Darius Garland more than they like Colin Sexton to be the guy to run the show. And the Cavs try to go with this small guard lineup with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, a la what Portland did with Dame.
I didn't mean him on Shumpert, by the way, but anyways, continue.
I knew you didn't. I ain't feel like correcting you. I know Shaw was on the case. But they try to go with the small scoring guard lineup, basically two combo guards in the backcourt like Portland does with CJ and Dame. And just like I say with CJ and Dame, they're great. They're very great. But at some point, you're going to come up against another guard who's 6'5", and both your backcourt guys are 6'1". That's a problem. That's a major problem. That's a major flaw in the way you construct a team. So one of them dudes got to go. One of them got to go. And I think the Cavs are realizing that now. Unfortunately, nobody wants Garland. The guy that people will want would be the guy that can score the ball at a higher clip and is a more efficient player, which is Sexton. So the Cavs are going to trade Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton won't be on the Cleveland Cavaliers next year. Now, it's a matter of what the Cleveland Cavaliers do with this upcoming pick. Do they make a play for the young, I'm going to say young Jalen, but there's multiple young Jalen's. The Suggs from Gonzaga, then the Jalen that played in the G League last year. You got to get one of them. You got to get one of them because both of them 6'5". You got to have, if your one starting guard is going to be 6'1", you got to have another guard that's 6'5" or taller, period. I don't care about nothing else. If you go ahead and let Sexton go, you better get one of the other point guards that's 6'5", period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. because you got to have another guard in the backcourt that isn't a small guard.
But a lot of the mock drafts already have the Cavs not getting him. Either of them. They're being taken before. So that's the problem. That's the problem the Cavs are running into. So this report I found interesting because that was, Sham says that, the Knicks have been the most aggressive in going after Colin Sexton. The package that they have put together, that they have thrown out there, it includes Kevin Knox, one of the Knicks 2021 first rounders, and Obi Toppin. Now, let me say this. Selfishly, I love this deal. I love Obi Toppin in Cleveland. I was a little bummed, even though last year, I remember around the draft coverage, I said, look, it's a horrible spot for Obi Toppin. But selfishly, Flyers fans would love to, have him back in the state of Ohio and have him in Cleveland and go watch him over there. It's tough to get to the Garden to watch Obi. But, it's a horrible organization. And at the time, we said the Knicks were a horrible organization. I still think they're kind of a questionable organization because the owner's still the same. But we saw Coach Thibs kind of turn that around last year. Here's why I don't see this deal happening, Kev. Like, the Cavs would not be getting a good deal back.
Like, I was thinking the same thing.
I don't want to be rude here to Obi Toppin, okay? But if you're trading Colin Sexton, you need to get a star in return. And I know around here everyone believes Obi can walk on water, and maybe he can at some point in the NBA. But if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers and you're going to give away maybe the third best player that you've developed, since the LeBron era, you better be getting something in return. They better be going after Ben Simmons. I know that you may not like the Ben Simmons approach, but I would take Ben Simmons over Obi Toppin in this Knicks package. Like, selfishly, I love the idea of Obi Toppin in Cleveland. But from a common sense standpoint, anyone outside of the 937 is not drooling at the opportunity to get Obi Toppin in Cleveland. Obi's he was a star in college. I made my concerns, I was very upfront about my concerns about his game translating to the NBA. I think he was efficient in his 11 minutes a game that Thibs gave him. I love the fact that, he has, been pretty consistent with the three ball. He's super athletic, which is no surprise to us whatsoever. But he never got any regular amount of time on the floor for anyone to really understand who the heck that he is. So the Cavs can't take a chance on who they think he can be when you're trading away someone who you know who they are. I think it's a bad deal for Cleveland. If they actually pull the trigger on this and they give up Colin Sexton to get Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and a first rounder, I mean, I just don't think that's an equal trade in value. I don't think the Cavs get anything in value in return for Colin Sexton. Ben Simmons has flaws, but I think you're closer to being a playoff team with Ben Simmons in Cleveland than you are with Obi and the rest of that package. So, again, I know around here that may not be a popular take, and it's not, Kinner's just finding a way to, be anti-UD on what. No, that's not what this is. It's common sense. This is not a good trade. If the Cavaliers pull this off and they send Colin Sexton to New York for Obi Toppin being the centerpiece of it, the Knicks, good for them. They turned that very bad draft 2 years ago, not the pick itself, but it was a bad draft. There was no star in that draft outside of you know what I mean? So if they could take that bad draft and turn it into getting Colin Sexton to put with Julius Randle, to put in that offense, look out. Look out. The Knicks are not a championship team, but they're going to be right back where they were as probably a much better 4 seed than what they were this year. But, I'm glad you said that you kind of agreed, because I just don't think that this is a horrible deal for the Cavs if Obi Toppin is the centerpiece of this deal. No offense to Obi, but I think anyone out there that's not a diehard UD fan would agree with that, and I don't think I'm breaking any news with it. The Knicks would have to provide something better than that, right?
Run down the trade again for me.
The Cleveland Cavaliers would get Kevin Knox. That tells you how this is going. One of their first rounders, which, by the way, folks, they were a playoff team last year, and anything outside of a top five pick, the NBA draft isn't like the NFL. You're not getting you're going to get a role player. The Cavs are built of all role players. So I'm not necessarily thrilled about that. And then Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox in a mid first rounder.
Man, you couldn't pay me to take Kevin Knox, bro. You couldn't pay me to take him. No way, dude. Y'all can keep him. We good. Just give us Obi. I'm straight. You ain't doing nothing but costing us money to have to pay this dude. I'm straight. As far as the Obi to the Cleveland Cavaliers, what if they're able, and I know the mock drafts don't have them taking either of the Jalen's, what if they're able to get one of the Jalen's. And they go ahead and ship out Colin Sexton. So that means you have one of the Jalen's in the backcourt with Colin Sexton, then the OB playing the 3-4 position. What about that? And also, we got to remember that by February, they're probably going to buy out Kevin Love's contract. So that'll free up more space. What about that?
Look, for one, you get one of them Jalen's in the draft. That's the winner. You're the winner right there. But that doesn't mean you just throw Sexton away for peanuts. No disrespect, but that's what in regards to value, folks. Like, come on, you have Colin Sexton, who is an emerging star in the NBA, and you're giving up for a guy that averaged 4 points a game, Knox, and a mid-first rounder that. The Cavs aren't a good drafting team anyways.
Man, it's
Ben Simmons is the better deal, but Ben Simmons gets in the way of your Jalen Suggs, right?
Right.
But Ben Simmons is a fantastic defender, too. That's what you also need.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that if you got Ben Simmons and one of the Jalen's in the backcourt. I mean, you're going to be big. You're going to be a very big team. And, there will be kind of like... There will be a la how Philadelphia is built. They're very big. Obviously, nobody on the Cleveland Cavaliers roster is an Embiid impact type of player. But you got to think they got the pick. They'll have Jalen, either Jalen, both of them 6'5". I don't care which one it is. He'll be playing. That means Ben Simmons, he's 6'10". So that's your backcourt right there. Like, that's awesome defensively, so I would entertain the Ben Simmons pick, even with all his flaws and everything like that. Well, you have to do a better job of constructing a team around him with shooters. If he's just going to be a guy that drives and kicks and everything like that and refuses to shoot the ball, well, then build a team around what he does well, which is drive and kick and play defense. And he'll be outstanding at that. It's a better play if they go ahead and do the Ben Simmons flip, because only thing you're doing anything that you do to get Colin Sexton out of Cleveland is doing him a favor. But if you send him to the Knicks, he'll be playing in the All-Star game next year, because he'll be playing a ton of minutes. He'll be running a ton of pick and roll with Julius Randle. They'll basically be the only ones that ever touch the ball. Tibbs will play him like 48 minutes a game.
Run him into the ground.
And you know what? Colin Sexton plays like a maniac anyway. He plays with
him and Derrick Rose.
Yeah, they don't have a slow down button. So this is perfect for him. That's the ideal spot. If I'm Colin Sexton, I'm like, man, get me to the Knicks. This dude plays the way I want to play all day long. So if I'm Colin Sexton, I'm like, Knicks or bust, because, hey, man, he's going to put the ball in my hands. And, if I go to Philly, that means I got to run the offense through Embiid. No, the ball will be in my hands in New York, and it'll be me and Julius Randle taking all the shots. And, hey, if I'm Colin Sexton, that sounds like a win-win to me. So as long as he gets out of Cleveland, he'll be happy. But for the Cavs, they got to do something. RJ Barrett or something. You got to give me something.
I was going to say, that was my next comment. No, again, Flyers fans, they can get mad at me all they want. Bottom line is, if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, you can't give up Colin Sexton, and the best player you get back is Obi Toppin. I know around here, oh, that's awesome, that's super, and the selfish part of me is like, that's great. I will go to a ton of Cavs games now to watch Obi Toppin, but that's not a good organizational trade. That is, it's not. I would want Emmanuel quickly before I'd want Obi Toppin. From a defensive standpoint,
what if you get both?
Or those two, like, they're not giving up RJ Barrett. Like, RJ Barrett's right. Like their dude.
What if they give you both? What do they say? All right, you give us Colin Sexton, we'll give you Quickly and Obi.
That's a good foundation right there. I would do that. I would do that. But the better deal is still Ben Simmons. If you have to get rid of Colin Sexton and your second best option is this, Obi Toppin and Quickly, I like that. That's fine. But Ben Simmons with the Suggs, as you talked about, I'm just saying, Jared Allen, by the way, earlier when I said the wrong name.
I couldn't remember his name either.
You knew who I was trying to say. And as I said, I'm like, that is not, I said Amon Shumpert, by the way. I meant to say Jared Allen, but, but man, but the Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, and then you have Jared Allen, and you have Suggs, and you have Garland, that you're on to something at that point. But you can't just get Obi Toppin in return for Colin Sexton and act like that's a fair trade. So just take that as hate if you want, but I think it's common sense. It doesn't make sense. Like Toppin, you don't know what you're getting with him. You know what you're sending out. You got to at least know what you're getting in return. I think we know more about Quickly than we know about Obi as far as who they are as players. And just being able to jump out of the gym doesn't make you worthy of being the number one piece in a trade for trade value like that. Hour 2 coming up. Over under around the corner. We'll have the lineups for Major League Baseball's All-Star game tonight. And that's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tired of deciding what to cook tonight? Frickers is ready when you are with everyone's favorite ribs and frickin' chicken chunks. Tender baby back ribs and frickin' chicken chunks, only $12.99 dine-in only. Take the day off as kids 10 and under eat free every day. And you can relax and let Frickers take care of everything. Baby back ribs, frickin' chicken chunks, and kids eat free at the one place that makes lunch, dinner, or late night easy. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Baby back. Baby back.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Save today in your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Masterforce has accessories for all your power tools, from saw blades to sandpaper, from drill bits to drive bits, and everything in between. Right now, get 11% off all Masterforce power tool accessories. Save today with 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through Saturday, July 17th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
We're live. We're local.
What are you going to miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hour 2, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Bengals and Browns training camp, July 27th.
Wow.
Just a few weeks out of the Bengals and the Browns reporting to training camp. It'll be a Tuesday. How about that? Your Pittsburgh Steelers, Kev, as we touched on in the first hour, Cowboys and Steelers, because they play in that August 5th Hall of Fame game, they will report to camp on July 21st, which is 2 weeks from today.
The great Troy Polamalu going into the Hall of Fame.
So how about that? That's 3 weeks away. I'm sorry. Or the Hall of Fame game's 3 weeks away, but they report to camp 2 weeks from today. We're a month and a half from kickoff to Ohio State football, September 2nd. I mean, that's going to be a Thursday night road game at Minnesota.
I keep forgetting that.
On Fox. I don't know how Fox is going to function putting a football game on at 8 o'clock at night. I mean, like normal people. They're proving they can do it. Put Oregon under the lights, folks. Do it. It's not too late. It's not going to happen, but it's not too late. Not too late, but it should and can happen. So there's that. August 20th is our first high school football game of the week right here on 1410 Wing AM. Keith Byers and I doing that once again, so we're pretty pumped about that. We got the TBT on WING. We just announced that. I technically announced it on the show yesterday, but we officially released it today. All Red Scare and Carmen's Crew games can be heard right here on 1410 Wing AM. July 23rd is a Friday. We will have the Carmen's Crew game that night at 9 o'clock from the Cavelli Center in Columbus. And then
you're going to be there.
We'll be there. Last year, we had laptops open. ESPN was sending us a court feed that we had we had the sound of the game over the air that we were talking over. So we had the camera angles that ESPN had doing the game from there. So that's how Norm Greavy and I called the game. So that was unique and different during a pandemic. Like, those are the things that when we look back at the pandemic, we're going to remember those weird things we did. Remember, we had all these random laptops set up in the studio so we can have all these different angles, and we had the noise from the gym piped in so that we could, and see all the angles. That was, unique. I would rather be there, and that's what we're doing this year. So that's pretty fun. I think, I'm excited. I know Norm Greavy is. We'll be on the call for all Carmen's Crew and Red Scare games throughout the TBT. The TBT on WING, just a reminder, you can also watch all 64 teams in action on the ESPN family of networks. So you can watch all the Carmen's Crew and Red Scare games on the ESPN family of networks. But if you're going to be out and about, you could tune in and listen to it right here on 1410 Wing AM and live on wingam.com with Norm Greavy and I on the call. But yeah, we'll be at the Cavelli Center for that Columbus regional round. And then if Carmen's Crew, the 1 seed, and Red Scare, the 2 seed, if they win those 2 games there, 3 games there, they'll advance to the quarterfinal matchup, which will be held at UD Arena. So that's the one we're hoping for. We were hoping they would have ran into each other last year. They faced each other 2 years ago. Carmen's Crew got the best. I did see Kyle Davis announced that he will not be on the Red Scare roster. That came out today. Carmen's Crew's roster got pretty damn strong. They added Costa Kufis. They had Caleb Wesson on top. Those are some of the new names on there along with the traditional names. So I'm pretty pumped about the TBT on WING. That thing has grown, to be quite the summer, event to look forward to. So I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, Kev Nash brings us over under.
Kev Nash brings you over under.
All right, we do what we always do in over under. We start things off in Major League Baseball. No Reds game tonight, though.
No, but we got the All-Star game tonight at Coors Field in Colorado. So over or under 7 runs total scored in tonight's Midsummer Classic.
So 7 runs tonight, and I looked this up. The average amount of runs scored in All-Star games over the last 10 years, it's been about 8.5 runs per game scored. So I'm going to say under.
It's in Colorado.
I hope in the All-Star game that they let them use foreign substances. I wish that a week out that they would let you juice and let you use foreign substances on the mound. Let the clash of cheating collide. Kev, how cool would that be? Hitters, you juice. Pitchers use all the foreign substances you like. I want to know who wins in that situation. Who comes out on top? Who's better, cheating hitters or cheating pitchers? I would assume cheating pitchers.
Yes, that's what I would assume. Cheating pitchers will be better.
But, you'll see some badass foul tips. Foul tips that leave the stadium. Foul tips that, reach you in the bird's eye seats up there.
Steroids and cork bats.
Yeah, I want it all. I want trash cans. I want steroids. I want sticky substances. I want corked bats. I want gambling in the dugouts. I want to look over and see Jesse Winker and Castellanos just rolling dice. I'm up. Okay, cool. Grab your corked bat, all big as hell, looking like pot pie walking up there. I want it all.
So you going with the
what the hell are we talking about right now? So I'm going to say under just because, it's only fitting that in a year that it's been dominated by pitching, 8 no-hitters, by the way, in the first half of the season. Remember that did slow down. It did slow down. Didn't we say over under 10 on the year?
Yes.
We're at 8 right now.
I went over.
You went over.
Way over.
I said, that I don't blame you because at that at that pace, Kev, it looked like we were going that way. I went under on that because I figured as a lot of those were happening in the colder months, the early part of the season. I figured as things warmed up, we would see those numbers drop. And I don't know if that's why. I do believe the attention to using the foreign substances from pitchers has played a role in that too. It's kind of evened the playing ground a little bit, I guess, if you will. But I'm going to say under. I think that, you have the best pitchers in baseball going tonight. I know there's the best hitters in baseball too. But ultimately, you have the pitchers out there who it's their all-star game too. They don't want to give up home runs. They don't want to give up hits. They don't want to be embarrassed. So last night was about the hitters. Tonight's about the pitchers. I'm going to say under. For those of you just tuning in, over under 7 total runs scored in tonight's Midsummer Classic, the All-Star game. I'm going to say under 7 combined runs between both teams.
I'm going with the over. They're in Colorado. You know how it's a hitter's ballpark and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to just go with the over just because of that.
All right, fair enough. Next up.
Yes, sir. USA basketball. Yep, another L. They lost to the Australian national team last night, 91-83. Over under 1.5 losses for the U.S. Olympic team in Olympic competition.
Man, listen. People got to just chill. This team does have flaws. You know why this team has flaws? Because it's Dame Lillard, Kevin Durant, and then after that, it's just a bunch of really good NBA players. I'm not making excuses, but I knew this team would be flawed. But I also know that in exhibition games, they are treated as such, as exhibition games. Pop is rolling out lineups that he's not traditionally going to roll out. He's trying to see which lineups mesh well. All right. They're playing different defenses than what they're normally going to in an actual game situation. I do think they're not having a true point guard hurts. I do believe that they don't handle the ball very well. I think that you're seeing a lot of that individual style ball that you see in the NBA versus the team approach that you see in the Olympics. I keep hearing people say, the rest of the world's caught up with the NBA, with the U.S. players. I don't think the rest of the world's caught up. There's always been great players around the world. The thing is that we have more players to choose from in this country, right? Like just from population-wise, right? So with that being said, I'm looking at all this, and I can't wait to overreact to when the Browns lose a preseason game. I'm going to lose. Oh, man, we have a problem. The Browns lost a preseason game. It's a preseason game, and it's an exhibition game. I do think they're vulnerable. The one thing that the U.S. game has changed is we don't have any post players.
Right.
Hell, even when LeBron was on the roster, he's not a post player, but we had size. Dame Lillard's undersized. Kevin Durant's not a muscle guy to go and get the boards. You have Zach LaVine. You don't have muscle guys. That's going to be where maybe games kind of become a little tighter because of that. But I'm going to say under. I think they're probably going to lose 1. I still think they win gold. I still think that this, even Pop said it in the postgame, that they're throwing out defense. They're throwing out looks that they're not going to throw out but he's trying to get a feel for who this team is. People need to chill and stop overreacting. I'm getting tired of, and then I saw this a lot today too, Brandon Tierney or whatever his name is. He tweeted out, it's kind of funny how Popovich hasn't won anything since Tim Duncan. Okay, well, people say the same ignorant stuff about Belichick. Oh, I guess it was all Tom Brady. Look at Belichick without Tom Brady. You mean one of the worst rosters in football with Cam Newton coming off of COVID and a season-ending injury and surgery the year before? Stop doing that. Of course Belichick wasn't going to win with the Patriots. Of course Popovich isn't going to win with the Spurs, who the best player that they have is DeRozan, which isn't a bad player, but it's not a star. We all know that that's not a championship roster, but yet we like to pull it out of our pocket when we want to rip coaches. Doesn't make any damn sense to me. Bottom line is, stop using exhibition results to try to discredit one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA. So I'm going to say under. I still think they lose a game, but they're going to win gold. This isn't the redeemed team. This isn't the dream team. This is actually closer to a yawn team, but the yawn team should still take care of business. You have Kevin Durant. You have Dame Lillard. I mean, come on now. I'm not buying into all the panic mode yet. We shall see.
There's a couple things I do want to touch on before I give my over or under. Okay, so what do these players have in common? Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Ayton, Clint Capella, Tristan Thompson, and we'll go with the MVP, Joker. What do they all have in common?
Tell me.
They ain't from here.
Okay, good. I didn't know if that's where you were going, but I was going to say, when you said DeAndre Ayton, because I keep hearing people say, where's he? He should be. When that comment got brought up about
he's Jamaican. Yeah, he's from the Bahamas.
Yeah, Kevin Love being the token white guy on the team. Remember when Jalen Rose got ripped for saying that or whatever, and then he said that they should have had DeAndre Ayton on the roster? Well,
You have to be American.
Kevin Love might be the token white guy, but let's just be honest. You can't have DeAndre, and he's not from the country on the USA.
Yeah,
roster.
you got to kind of like be here to
not a
play
U.S.
for the
citizen.
team.
So
yeah. So like that's a big problem. So they've been getting killed on the boards.
It happens.
And that's one. Two, what people fail to realize is the way the U.S. basketball team is structured is not like any other structured environment for national teams. The Australian national team, yes, they have 5 NBA players on their roster. But the other 6 guys on their team, they play together all the time. Like they have mini camps for their teams. The United States, we are the big bad United States. We don't feel the need to do that. We felt the need to show up with 4 days of practice and then roll out the balls and play an exhibition game while they've been practicing together since June.
Half of this roster is still in the finals right now.
Yeah.
Not half, but a good chunk.
Yeah, you got Middleton and Drew Holiday still playing in the NBA Finals. So you look at that and say, all right, more guys are going to be added to this roster and everything like that. So I am going to go with the under. They're going to lose a game in Olympic competition, but I still believe that they're going to come home with the gold. And another thing I definitely want to mention is, you know how you see all these graphics go out on Twitter? Shaq is like the number one component of this. This roster would never lose a game, and to have him, LeBron, Jordan, Iverson, everything like that, and Kobe on the team. Like, look, man, when you're constructing a team, you construct a team for people to have roles on that team. You're not constructing a team of just the best guys. You have to have sacrifice for a team. You talk about the Redeem team all the time and their back-to-back championships, Olympic gold medals that they won. Well, they had roles, and those roles that they played weren't the same roles that they played in the NBA. Dwayne Wade's role was the 6th man. LeBron James' role was the distributor. Carmelo's, well, his same role as always is to shoot the ball. And Kobe was the closer. Like, those are clear defined roles. Yeah. So when you have that, and also those teams played in the World Games too. Like, these guys didn't play in that. This wasn't the same team. So this is a brand new constructed team trying to go out there and buy into new roles and everything like that. When you look at that team, every single guy out there is basically high pick and roll in the NBA. And I'll turn a corner and get all the way to the cup. If they drop off, I'll shoot the 3. Every player on that team does the exact same thing in the NBA. So now you want, hey, Zach LaVine, we want you to be the defensive stopper. Zach LaVine ain't played defense ever in his life. And as much of a Zach LaVine fan as I am, that ain't his game. His game is give me the ball and I'm going to go dunk it on somebody's head or I'm going to pull up for 3. Same thing with Dame. Same thing with KD. They all play the exact same way. They're just different levels to it. So you have to get guys to buy into their role and execute that role. I believe that Pop will get them to where they need to be before Olympic competition, and they're going to bring home the gold medal. So I'm going to go with the under.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I thought Jay Will brought up a great point about this. He goes, if you take the Eastern or Western Conference All-Stars and coming out of the All-Star break, they have to face the worst team in the NBA, let's say the Orlando Magic. He said he would put money on the Orlando Magic beating the East or the West All-Stars because even though they're the worst team in the NBA, they've collectively played together for 40 games into the season, and that will go a long way over expecting that All-Star team to come out and just click on all cylinders.
Right.
He said, but over a 10-game span, that All-Star team's going to beat them probably 8 of 10, but Orlando would probably pick up a couple wins early as that team tries to get it. That's what's going on here. Now, you have Shaw and other guys who are like, it doesn't matter. That they've lost more exhibition games in 2 days than they did the entire history of USA basketball. It's exhibition play. You are getting angry over exhibition games, and they're being used as that. Popovich is smart. He knows the noise that's coming with the losing, but he knows I can't go out there and give roles to guys that we don't know who the roles are yet.
Right.
Like, they're trying to find themselves in a very quick, truncated amount of time. Like you said, all the other teams, they've been playing together forever. This is not the same thing. You don't have LeBron. All right. You don't have a lot of the familiar faces. This is a totally revamped roster now. So bottom line is, I'm not panicking, and stop it, people. It's exhibition. It's exhibition play. Enough. Next up.
Trade rumors about Colin Sexton and Ben Simmons have been circulating heavily today. So over or under a half a season for them with their current team. So up until the trade deadline of the NBA season, which happens in February. So over or under both guys being with their teams the rest of the season.
So, there was at the first half. So, with that being said, look, Colin Sexton, Ben Simmons, both stars today for their respective teams. Reports have come out that both of their teams are respectively looking to shop them and move them. And we all figured that was the case. I know that you had Doc Rivers and the Sixers come out and say that they were going to work on Simmons. They were going to find a way. I think this is a situation where you have Simmons camp coming out and saying, I'm not going to be a project for you. Like, I think he's accepting the fact that they have flaws. Ben Simmons is a really, really good basketball player who has flaws, who I think there was some issues internally with that organization before they ran into that series. I think a new scenery for both sides is actually a step in the right direction. So, and as far as Colin Sexton, we talked about this a little bit. Both guys are as good as gone. I'm going to say under half a season. I don't even think we get to the upcoming season with both of these guys on their respective teams. I will go out with the hot take and say the Cavaliers, as dumb and bad of an organization as they are, they will not accept that New York Knicks trade with Obi Toppin being the best player that they would get in return. I love Obi. I'm going to reiterate that point right now. I love Obi Toppin, but Obi Toppin with Quickly, that's a sexy return. Obi Toppin with RJ Barrett, that's a great return for Colin Sexton. But you cannot tell me that the Cavaliers would get a equal amount in return by sending Sexton to the Knicks in exchange for Obi Toppin and Knox and a first rounder. Obi Toppin, you don't know who he is yet. I don't care what he did in college. That never translates well into the NBA for those role players. So I don't care about that. The bottom line is I don't see the Cavs doing that deal. I actually see Ben Simmons in Cleveland before I see Obi Toppin in Cleveland, as long as that deal is as stands with Obi Toppin being the main piece.
How many points did Obi average?
I think like 4.5, 4.2 a game or something crazy like that.
So you trade 4 points for 24 points.
Yep.
Ain't no way.
And see, and that's where logic was thrown out the window today. Now, I put that out there. I said, selfishly, I love this deal. It's a bad deal for the Cavs, but selfishly, I love it because, Obi, for one's going to get a ton of time out on the floor. He will get a ton of playing time, and his minutes will go up, and his points will go up, and his rebounds will go up. But will they go up to 24 a game? Will they replace the distribution that Sexton has too, and just the plus minus all that fun stuff? I don't think so. So no, the Cavs would be fools to make the trade with it as is. Obi is a great addition as a piece of the puzzle, but he can't be the main part of the puzzle. That doesn't make any sense. So I think both are moved by the start of the season. I just see Ben Simmons in Cleveland before I see Obi Toppin in Cleveland with that deal constructed as is. For those of you who don't know, there was Shams reported earlier that the Knicks are the most aggressive suitors right now going after the Cavs. Colin Sexton, and the deal includes Knox, it includes Obi Toppin, and a first rounder. That's not a good enough package when you have Ben Simmons, who you could just swap the two for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with the under. I think both dudes going to be traded before the season even starts. It's a good day to be Colin Sexton. It's a good day to be wanted by a bunch of teams, man. Philly wants him. The Knicks want him. All those teams are in the playoffs last year. Both of those teams look like they're being run with some competency. So Colin Sexton's just got to be sitting back, just licking his chops, just waiting to get on one of those teams and really to make his presence known in the NBA to the masses, because we know he's a good basketball player because we live in Ohio.
Yep.
And we're forced to watch the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's the only guy on the team anybody likes or anybody wants to keep on the team. But for some strange reason, the Cavs want him out of here. Way to go, guys. Way to
make
go.
Any sense. Drafting without a vision led them to this, though. When you don't know when you don't have big picture goals, I mean, it is what it is. All right, number 4, little Ohio State football conversation.
Oh, man, the Tech 5, Boom Herron, Mike Adams, Solomon Thomas, DeVere Posey, and, of course, Terrell Pryor want their wins back from the NCAA. Obviously, they traded Ohio State merchandise for tattoos back in the day. Can't believe that was such a long time ago. The 5 released a joint statement today. So over or under 4 years before their wins are reinstated.
I think that they have to sit back and watch what happens with Reggie Bush first. Bottom line is, I think this is stupid. I think that the punishment was stupid, but I also think that they were stupid. They knew, I feel like we've done this episode before, but this is just, you're going to see a lot of these pop up, though. A lot of players that were punished for not cheating, but for not following the rules, I guess, because it's not cheating. This is just strictly violations. But the rules heading into this, and this is an easy one. These guys know that they can't give, anything in exchange for services at all. I mean, it's not really that hard to figure out. And I know we think because the punishment is stupid and the rule that they broke is stupid and the rule that they broke is no longer technically a rule right now. But at the time, it was a rule. I don't believe that they deserve to have it overturned. I love Jim Tressel. I would love for him to get those wins back and to get his name repaired. But do we look at him any different? I don't look at him any different. I don't look at Jim Tressel and think, oh man, yeah, he's a scumbag, he's a cheater, he's dirty, no. And maybe I don't know. I get if you have your shot, take it. I don't blame them for doing this, but I don't. If they say no, I'm not going to have a hot take on how stupid the NCAA is. And if they get it back, good for them. But this is nuts. I mean, remember the Browns preseason game? They were barred from the shoe. Remember? So Terrell Pryor back in 2016, when he was on the Browns roster, the Browns played a preseason game at the shoe. They had to get permission. They had to. I don't even know what it entailed, but they had to do a lot of legwork to be able to get Terrell Pryor access to the shoe just to be able to play a preseason game. Remember how crazy that was? That is absolutely insane to me. But no, I think that it'll be under. I do think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to start with Reggie Bush. I don't think it should happen. I think you broke a rule, and it was dumb. It's a dumb rule, but if it's a dumb rule, why break a dumb rule? Why risk your eligibility? Why risk wins? Why risk a potential championship over a dumb rule? It's not like those who violated the rules because they desperately needed money for them and their family. I can sympathize with that. I grew up with a family. We didn't have any money growing up, so I could sympathize. But you wanted a tattoo. Now, it's because I'm a wuss and I'm afraid to get a tattoo, but you just wanted a tattoo. It's not like you risked your teammates' wins and your legacy over a tattoo. That's kind of stupid. You're dumb. You're just as dumb as the rule is. You're kind of dumb for that too. So no, I don't think they should get it back, but I think they will get it back. I think it'll be under 4 years. I think that's a lot of time to keep mounting the pressure on the NCAA to kind of give some of these wins back, but I don't believe that they should.
I'm on a total opposite side of you.
Of course.
I think they should get it back, but I don't think they'll ever get it back. I don't think that.
Man, that's double opposite.
Yeah, I don't think any of these dudes are going to get their stuff back. I don't think Reggie Bush is going to get his records back or his Heisman Trophy back. I don't think the TAC 5 is going to get their wins back for Jim Tressel and everything like that. I don't think that Michigan is going to get their banners back for the Fab 5. I don't think any of that's going to happen. As long as these institutions are a part of the NCAA, they're not going to get them back. If they break away from the NCAA, the Power 5 make their own thing, then yes, they'll get their stuff back. But until then, the NCAA, this is the last bit of power, quote unquote, that the NCAA has. They're not going to give that up for nobody. We're seeing what happens, how long it took them to allow them to make money off their name, image, and likeness. This is the last bit of power that they have, and I don't think they're going to let it go for anybody. So do I think they should have it back? Yeah, because for multiple reasons. I mean, the NCAA picks and chooses about what they want to have, be punishment and everything like that. Hey, you guys are suspended after the Sugar Bowl because we know if you guys aren't playing, nobody's going to watch. Like small stuff like that is how the NCAA works. There's petty things of that nature.
You're suspended, Chase Young, because it's just Maryland and Rutgers. They don't need you for those guys anyway.
Exactly. So they pick and choose when you're going to be suspended or how long you're going to be suspended based off the calendar of people viewing.
You got to evaluate some things.
Yeah. So that is totally bogus. So I think that they'll remain erased. Well, that season will remain erased for them and Jim Tressel. So should they? Yes. Will they? No. I'm going to say never 30 is when they're going to get their stuff back from the NCAA.
If we check the boards, Kinner would be getting killed on the boards right now. Kevin would be getting some praise. That Kev guy, he knows what he's talking about. Go Bucks. OH. That Kinner guy, he hates the Buckeyes. Blah, blah, blah. And last but not least, we close it out with Major League Baseball in this over-under edition.
Oh, yeah, man. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred says the MLB is likely to drop the extra inning runner rule in the 7th inning for doubleheaders in 2022. So over under one or more year. Whoa, I totally butchered that. How about you take over because you wrote it?
Over under one more year of the extra inning runner rule. Rob Manfred came out today and basically announced that that they're likely going to do away with the extra inning runner rule, runner on second in extra innings, and probably get rid of the 7-inning doubleheaders in 2022. And I tweeted this out today, Rob Manfred came out and said that the extra inning, the runner on second in extra innings rule, that was a COVID rule. And I was like, no, it wasn't. That was being experimented with in the minor leagues before COVID was here. In a COVID rule, because we needed the games to end quicker to get all the fans who weren't allowed to attend games home earlier. Like, what are you talking about? Think of all the lives that were saved of this extra inning runner on second rule. Shut up, Rob Manfred. Like, that wasn't a COVID rule. And by the way, I would say over under one more year of the extra inning runner rule and the 7-inning doubleheaders. I'm going to say under for the 7-inning doubleheaders. I think that's dumb. I think it's ridiculous. I think if young children can play multiple doubleheaders in a day, I'm pretty sure these grown millionaire adults can play a doubleheader, full 9-inning doubleheaders. I think that they can figure it out. But I do believe that the runner on second and extras will stay. I actually like it. It adds a little excitement. You kind of look forward to something a little bit different. I've always been against it, but in the games I've seen with it, I like it. Now, I don't like it for the Reds, who have a horrible bullpen. They don't need any more help putting runners on base in tight game situations. But once the Reds get that bullpen figured out, I won't be as antsy about extra inning games. But no, bottom line is, I think that the extra inning rule with the runner on second and extra innings, I think it's been kind of enjoyable. And I think that they're so big on pace of play. This actually fits that mold. The 7-inning doubleheaders, that doesn't do anything other than readjust record. But we've seen already too many messes of these no hitters and 7-inning doubleheaders where they're not counting these no hitters. They're not counting a lot of these. I think the 7-inning doubleheaders has created more of a mess than anything. I actually like the extra inning rule. I think that they will keep that, even though he says they're considering not keeping it moving forward. I think they ultimately keep it, and I think they get rid of the 7-inning doubleheaders. So I'll say over and under for one for each.
I'm going to go with the under for both. I'm going to say they're going to go back to the old ways because that's how baseball's always operated. They always like the old ways. They like to try to keep stats and keep things the way they used to be.
Yeah, it's just some thunder rolling around. Cool. Storm's coming.
So I say they go back to the way things used to be by the start of next season. So I'm going to go with the under for both.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. So good stuff there on the over-under. We'll step away for a few moments. We're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like, subscribe, follow along. Also subscribe to the ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel where you can watch us there as well. But I do want to dive more into that tattoo gate, the Tattoo 5, as they say, as they are requesting to have their records restored. We'll get to that because we gave our takes. I'm curious people's takes on that. Head to Facebook, head to YouTube. For one, it's twofold. Do you believe that they should have their records restored, which I kind of know where the vast majority of you will be? And do you think that their records will be restored? I want to hear from you. Head to Facebook, head to YouTube, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, ESPN Dayton on YouTube, and jump in the chat section, would you? We'll be back in a moment.
Check your stations, dudes.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 83. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, also with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 85. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Wendy's only makes one kind of breakfast, your new favorite one. How do we do it? With fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, and flaky croissants. You know, the things your old breakfast wasn't doing. So toss that old news and its soggy eggs somewhere useful. And get to Wendy's, where the sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant, and honey butter chicken biscuit are just 2 for $4. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $4.
Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Napa know-how.
Get 20% off 3 or more items with the $2.99 Napa Bucket. Yep, save on wipers, headlights, brake pads, motor oil. Wait, how long is this list? Wow, floor mats, boat batteries, towing parts. I'm not sure we have time to read all this. Let's just say save 20% on a lot. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 7/31/21.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Staples Connect has everything you need for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, 8 packs of Pep Rally No. 2 pencils, Staples pencil cap erasers, and Staples comp books are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be first day of school pop quiz ready.
It's showtime.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back to school today and get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 9/18. Pencils in store only. Offers may vary online.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
You know, a few days ago while hanging out with my family, I noticed my father staring blankly at me. Something's not right, I thought. Is he having a stroke? Then I remembered to act fast, F-A-S-T, and did this quick test. F, face. I asked my father to smile. One side of his face drooped. A, arm. I asked him to lift both arms, no problem there. S, speech. I asked him to repeat a phrase. His speaking was slurred. T, time. I called 911 for immediate help. This way, he began receiving life-saving treatment in the ambulance. My father was out of the hospital in a few days, all because he made it to the hospital within an hour of his stroke. Practice recognizing the signs of a stroke so that you can act F-A-S-T, fast, to save a loved one.
This message is brought to you by the Ohio Department of Health's Coverdell Stroke Program.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
What makes the perfect workout? Being able to ride, lift, and stretch in one place with motivating instructors.
Y'all look so good out there, Peloton.
Classes that always work around your busy summer schedule.
Push, Peloton. You've got 20 minutes of opportunity on this ride.
Instructor-curated playlists for every mood.
Let's turn it up. Come on.
Now what if you had it all? Right at home. The Peloton Bike. Nothing like working out from home. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more.
What if I told you you could save 50% off your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing your service? This is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, and I'm talking about H2O Wireless. If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much. Listen to this. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. That means the average person is probably saving $400 a year. You might use that to fund your emergency reserve fund or pay down some credit card bills or put some money in your retirement plan. And you know, switching is so easy. You can keep your phone, keep your number. You just have to swap out your SIM card. You get the same great service you currently have, but at half the price. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O. That's pound 250 and say keyword get H2O to start saving today.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
So one of the over-unders, Kev, that we just did was, of course, about the combined score for tonight's Major League Baseball All-Star Game. It was over-under 7 total runs scored in tonight's Midsummer Classic. And what's interesting, if you go back to 2010, only six times in the last 10 years, the combined All-Star Game score totaled 7 runs or fewer. So it happens more than you think. Like, I think in All-Star, like, we're used to the NBA where it's like 175 to 150, which now sometimes you see that during the regular season. But 5 times in the last 10 years, Kev, a side has scored 1 run or fewer. There has been 3 shutouts.
You're making me rethink this.
So I said under because it's been the year of the pitcher this year for more than one reason. The cheating and the, really high clip of no hitters, in which maybe it's all, they all go hand in hand. But I was shocked. So last year's All-Star game, or I should say the last All-Star game in 2019, American League won 4-3. The American League has a habit of winning this thing. In fact, the National League has not won really since 2012. The National League has not won since 2012. I like the National. Damn, the National League has not won since 2012. The All-Star game. So the American League last year won 4-3 in 2019. I should say in 2018 they won 8-6. That was a high score. That's about right what you would expect in an All-Star game. 14 combined runs. The American League won 2-1 in 17, 4-2 in 16. 6-3 in 15, and then there was the National League got shut out in back-to-back seasons in 12 and 13. Kev, 3-0 and 8-0.
I think I should go with the under and add this to it. They want to go home too, like a fast-paced game, like a longer game in baseball is a whole bunch of scoring runs. So they already swing for the fences in regular season baseball. So this means they're going to be swinging for the fences even more. So that means probably even more strikeouts, right? Or pop-outs or whatever.
Probably.
So they're looking to get up out of there, too. They want to spend at least one day with their family and everything like that. So I'm going to switch courses, and I'm going to go with the under.
Everyone wants to be a starter in the All-Star game, but sometimes that could be worse. You get your first 2 innings, and you're pulled, and now you have to sit.
Right.
Or would you rather, or is it worse to not be a starter, and you just sit there and wait your turn to go in, and it's just like, yeah.
I'd rather start.
You can just get it over with?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting enough.
Especially if a pitcher, get in and get you 2 innings. If you get dinged up, nobody cares. It's the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think we always think that these guys just, to your point, they just want to get it done. But I think once they get there, the natural competitive juices start flowing to a certain extent. I don't think it's going to be like when you saw Pete Rose, dive into home and take out the catcher in an All-Star game. I mean, to be honest, that was more intensity in that All-Star game than what you get in a lot of regular season games today.
What would happen if that happens tonight? Like somebody really plays like this is the World Series like Pete Rose did.
For one, good for them. I would applaud it, but it would be ridiculed. They would be bashed within their little player circle. And here's the problem. So tonight, the Major League Baseball All-Star game is supposed to be fun. Bat flips will be accepted tonight. Woo! You'll do bat flips. A pitcher will give up a home run. You'll see the bat flips, and the pitchers will laugh it off. And my big question is you just proved you can handle it. You just proved you can handle another human being flipping a bat in an all-star game and you not, crying. So if it's okay in an all-star game, why can't it be okay all the time? Like, those are the things that I can't stand. Sometimes the best part about all-star games is the looseness of it, is the relatability to it. And then sometimes it's too stiff. When you watch regular season, it's just boring. No emotion. Can't bat flip. Can't show excitement. The one thing I do love about Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker, who are the 2 starters, the 2 Reds who are in the starting lineup tonight for the National League, Jesse Winker bat flips. Castellanos, he likes to show up the opponent. And no matter what, it's considered disrespectful. I don't find it disrespectful. I mean, as long as, there's always a line you can cross. I don't think that line's been crossed. I think the line that those 2 have walked all season has made it very enjoyable. And I think that that's one reason why those are 2 of the biggest fan favorites on the team outside of their statistical numbers, the relatability and the fact that they could draw fans in and be interested in what they're saying, and they are doing. But is what it is. Last thing I want to get to before I get back to this Terrell Pryor and the Tattoo 5 and everything else that comes with that. We talked about, so MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred says that Major League Baseball is likely to drop the extra inning, runner on second rule, and that they are going to eliminate most likely the 7-inning doubleheaders in 2022. And last point on this, and we'll move on from it, but I will say this. I like the runner on second rule and extras. I was adamantly against it. I thought it sounded too gimmicky. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was silly. But after watching it, I do believe it adds some intrigue. It adds some intensity. It adds some urgency. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, at times you are in a extra inning game because of a great pitcher's duel. And then at times you're in an extra inning game because you're just not good offensively that night. Like, it's not always like just because it's a low scored game late in the game, it doesn't mean that it's a pitcher's duel all the time. I mean, yes, that means there's probably good pitching. But I watched the game a while back where there was about 9 combined walks. It was 1-1 heading into extras. And I'm listening to the broadcaster talk about it's been a real pitcher's duel today. No, that sounds like it's a lot of bad offense of guys not being able to capitalize with runners in scoring position and that type of deal. So a lot of pitchers getting out of jams, but it doesn't necessarily mean, that it doesn't necessarily mean that the pitching's been fantastic. So I like the extra inning rule. I think that sticks. I know Rob Manfred said there's talks of eliminating it, but what's interesting is that in the minors that rule was adopted by request of Major League Baseball teams. It was requested by Major League Baseball teams. The Players Association will fight for it, I think. They requested it. The players, the Major League Baseball teams requested it because mainly it saves pitching, wear and tear. Sometimes you'd have those super late 17, 18 inning games, and sure, they're perfect for SportsCenter headlines. And were you up late last night? You were probably watching live baseball till 2 a.m. That's all fun and dandy for a fun, unique headline, but no one wants that. I think that this helps. I think that stays. The 7-inning doubleheader rule is ridiculous. You go to any ballpark here locally on Saturdays, and you're watching teams who are playing not multiple doubleheaders, but they're playing full doubleheaders every week. So I don't want to hear that. I think that these guys are capable of playing 9-inning doubleheaders. It is what it is. Tough it up, Buttercup. You can get it done. I think that they will eliminate those. I think it's already led to way too many issues when you look at the no-hitters that have had to be not counted.
Yeah.
And I get why they're not counted because they weren't full game 9-inning. But if you're saying that you're playing 2 full games by shrinking it down to 2 7-inning games, I understand the argument of why it should count. But let's say you have a no-hitter going into the 6th inning, Kev, and the game is called after that due to rain. And the Reds lost a game. Who did they lose to recently? I can't remember who. The Reds just lost a game recently where it was 3-2 or something crazy. And then the rain out, they just said, well, we're calling the game and the game's final because it was far enough into the game to be counted. So what if there was a no-hitter in that? Would you count that? Would you count that as a no-hitter? No, because you didn't get a full game in. Well, that argument stands for the 7-inning thing then, because you didn't get technically a full game in. So I think we'll see the elimination of that. I do think that this helps baseball, the runner on extras and extra innings. I know the old school guys won't like it. I used to not like it. I think it serves a lot of purposes. One being, yes, the wear and tear on pitchers, not allowing games to go on and on and on, but also baseball's constant agenda of pace of play. This gravitates towards that. And it does it in a smooth way. I actually like it. I think the games have been entertaining because of it.
I really like the runner on the second rule too. Would you keep it even in the World Series or playoff baseball? Would you keep it there?
Yes, because I'm big on not changing the rules in the postseason versus what you play. You play in the regular season a certain way. That's right. Why I think all sports who have ties during the regular season and then get rid of the ties during the postseason, I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. In baseball is set up just like soccer and others. Baseball is no different than soccer and hockey, where you could easily just end games in ties. And I'm glad that they don't.
Right.
I'm glad baseball doesn't do that. So I don't want to see what hockey and baseball do, where you go into the postseason and now all of a sudden you have to play until there's a winner, but all season long you just play for ties, basically. I think it's dumb that you change up the rules in the postseason, differing from what you did in the regular season. I think it should try to be as constant as possible. That's why I like what baseball does there. No ties. I don't like, changing the rules either. I think, it definitely should be. Imagine World Series Game 7, bottom of the 9th, you automatically have a runner on second. Sure, you probably didn't earn that runner on second, but man, now it's even more intrigue. Now it's even more urgency. I liked it. I hope they don't change it. I can't believe I'm saying that because 2 years ago I thought this was the dumbest thing in the world.
Well, another thing about baseball is kind of like fair. You get your at bat. The home team gets their at bat last. So even if the runner scores from second and they get the lead in the top of the ninth, you still have an opportunity, and you get afforded the same opportunity they did. You get your runner on second as well. So I'm here for it. I hope they keep that rule, and they can go ahead and do away with the seventh inning double hitters. They can get rid of that. They can get rid of that like the second half of the season. They don't need to do that anymore. But I'm still good with the runner on second base.
All right, now we will dive into this Ohio State discussion with Terrell Pryor and others regarding the Tattoo 5 call for the NCAA to restore the Buckeyes football records. Fair or foul, we'll discuss on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Today, I'm taking it to the streets to give people the good news. Oh, excuse me. Hello. I'm Flo from Progressive. And did you know?
No, I'm just waiting for the bus.
So then you have time to hear about how with Home Quote Explorer, you can check if you're paying too much for home insurance.
Yeah, if I was interested in talking to you, which I'm not.
Okay, I'll do the talking and you just check if you can be saving, which is going to be pretty hard to do if you put on your headphones. Okay.
See if you're paying too much for home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
What makes the perfect workout? Being able to ride, lift, and stretch in one place with motivating instructors.
Y'all look so good out there, Peloton.
Classes that always work around your busy summer schedule.
Push, Peloton. You've got 20 minutes of opportunity on this ride.
Instructor-curated playlists for every mood.
Let's turn it up. Come on.
Now what if you had it all? Right at home. The Peloton Bike. Nothing like working out from home. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer, and now is a great time to buy. For a limited time, Honda has extended 0% financing on the 2021 Honda Passport, Honda HR-V, Honda Pilot for well-qualified buyers. See me, sales manager Jason High, for the complete details. We are located at Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
OHMB 803-342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff, even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Hour number 3. Terrell Pryor and the Tattoo 5. They call for NCAA to restore the Ohio State football records. quarterback Terrell Pryor and 4 other former Buckeyes who were also disciplined for receiving free tattoos and other impermissible benefits in exchange for their memorabilia are asking for Buckeyes victories and individual records to be restored. The Buckeyes were forced to vacate victories and records as part of the NCAA sanctions nearly a decade ago. In a statement posted to Twitter on Tuesday, Pryor and the 4 other former Buckeyes wide receiver, again, you have DeVere Posey, Solomon Thomas, Mike Adams, Boom Herron. They called for our school records and legacy to be restored so that Buckeye Nation can look at us with the same love and fondness that we've always had for them. Here's what I'm going to call BS on all that. I forgot about Boom Herron, and I didn't forget about Boom Herron. I know who Boom Herron is, but I forgot that they were all like Terrell Pryor was the face of that. They all blame you, Terrell. You're the whole reason because you flaunted everything. I'm not a big Terrell Pryor guy.
Terrell Pryor was one of the most controversial Buckeyes of all time.
He was a me guy, and he was honestly probably why a lot of red flags popped up with those violations because he didn't hide anything because he thought he was above everything else. He might be a good dude. I have no idea. I'm just talking about from this standpoint right here. I made mistakes in college. I don't even want to talk about, okay? We'll just leave it at that. That doesn't make me who I am. These mistakes that he made didn't make him who he is. And by the way, these mistakes, if aliens came to Earth and you said that he used his name, image, and likeness to exchange memorabilia to get a free tattoo, I don't know what aliens find cool or not, but I think they would find that like, okay, that's pretty fair. But the bottom line is at that time it wasn't. And they knew it wasn't because they tried to hide it. And they did it very secretly. If you are hiding something, like if you're talking to another woman that you shouldn't be talking to, you know what I mean? Like, why are you deleting text messages? If you're trying to tell your wife or your significant other that, oh, no, we're just friends, then why'd you delete the text messages? Why is that girl's name something different in your phone? Why are you being weird? Because you know you're not supposed to be doing it. You may be just friends, but you know you're doing something wrong, so you gotta try and hide it as best you can. That's what these guys did. You might have been doing something innocent, but you can't plead, ignorance to the law. And no, it's not a law. But like, I don't feel bad for these guys in that regards. Don't come at me and say stupid stuff like, so that we can look at Buckeye Nation, or so that Buckeye Nation can look at us with the same love and fondness that we've always had for them. So I don't think they look at them any different. We never got to. It's not like they got to take away our emotions and our excitement.
You don't think so?
Terrell's the only one. I don't look at Boom Herron any different. I don't look at any of them other guys.
I was at. It was the year Ohio State went undefeated, and so this was Herb's first year. I was at that Ohio State Michigan game, and Tressel was there, and some Ohio State fans booed Jim Tressel. And I was in shock that they would actually boo Jim Tressel. Like, what? Like, not to say the program was in the dumpster before Jim Tressel showed up, but it wasn't headed in the right direction before he showed up. And he was part of getting Ohio State football back on track and also won a national championship. And I was blown away that happened. So I do think people look at them as, a stain on Ohio State. I do believe that some fans feel that way.
Who do you see? I feel Ohio State feels dirtier post-Urban than post-Tressel.
Oh yeah, these violations.
That's my opinion. That's how I feel. It doesn't mean that that's the case. What I mean is, I didn't feel that the program was dirty after that. I thought it was a scandal. It even had a stupid Tatgate, like we were mocking Tatgate. But you look at the stuff that Urban was involved in, and whether it was from a good place or not, it doesn't matter. It just felt dirty. You, as a Buckeye fan, for those who defended it to its core without knowing the information, for those who were like me, who right away went to the worst place possible and was anti-Urban from the beginning of those rumors going around, that was just a dirty situation to be involved in no matter what. So it's funny you say that at the time that they booed Tressel. And I think that was one of those things where, when you leave a relationship and you get someone that's even hotter looking and better looking and you're way happier, of course you're going to see that, oh, God, there they are. There they are. Like there was nothing wrong with Tressel, but you had Urban Meyer. Buckeye fans were obnoxious with Urban Meyer. They've calmed down a bit with Ryan Day. Ryan Day is fantastic, but Ryan Day doesn't have that that charisma to him that Urban did that just gave you this false confidence that we're going to just win every damn national championship. Like what Alabama is what we all thought Ohio State was going to be when Urban Meyer took over. It was one national championship. That was it. Like there wasn't. I don't think we got more with Urban. I don't think we got what we truly expected with Urban big picture when it was all said and done. I'm going in a lot of different directions. My apologies. But.
No, you good. No, for the whole situation between Trestles, transgressions, and Herbs, they are night and day different. Like this Tech 5 thing and Jim Tressel protecting his guys, like that is typical college scandal stuff. That is like run of the mills type of stuff. This is type of stuff that happens at every single program. If the NCAA dug a microscope into every single football program out there, the small ones, the big ones, the medium size, the Hawaiis, the Bowling Greens, the Bamas, the Floridas, you name it, they're going to find something. That's what this whole thing with Jim Tressel was. This is a what? They gave away school stuff to give free tattoos. And that's a violation. Yes, it's a violation. Okay, fine. How long are they suspended? Oh, yeah, they're suspended the entire season next year after y'all play this Sugar Bowl game. That's typical stuff. I mean, we see it happen with AJ Green. It happened to him down at his time at Georgia and everything like that.
Really, Bengals fans, I forgot about that. Man, that's a great guy you got there that you had. Joking.
Gave away a jersey for some money and everything like that. So this is typical stuff. What Herb was involved with was domestic. And nobody wants to have their name involved in anything involving domestic violence. Now, we don't have to rehash things that went on and didn't go on and everything like that. The point of the matter is Urban Meyer's name was connected to somebody else's name that was involved with a domestic violence scandal. That is something nobody wants. So if you want to say like, it felt dirtier, yeah, when you're involved with something with domestic violence, yeah, it's always going to seem dirtier. To me, at least.
Even if it wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
It just the topic alone. So I say that because we all sit here and we spend so much time saying how stupid the rules are. They shouldn't be suspended. They should have their wins back. They should have their records. But yet we boo Tressel because of all that. Like, it's either stupid or it's not. So my big argument about why, like when they're asking for, it's just this quote. It's this holier than thou thing. That's the thing that I don't like.
What if Terrell Pryor's name wasn't on it? What if he was the only guy that name wasn't on it?
I know they shouldn't have let him. If they were smart, they shouldn't have let him be there. Like if Boom Heron or one of them guys wanted to lead it, I'd be all for like Solomon Thomas, whatever. But like when they said we want our legacy to be restored. Like, what do you mean restored? Like, so there's a reputation of Terrell Pryor, but that never took away from who he was as a football player. I don't look at him differently as a football player. I don't look at Boom Heron or Solomon Thomas or any of those guys differently as football players. Like they were boneheaded young kids. Like it is what it is. But your actions have consequences, even as young kids. And I never like to use the term kids because you're an adult. You're young adults. They made. If you choose not to do something because it's against the rules and you choose to do something against the rules, you still made a decision. And you have a lot of other teammates who choose not to do those things because it might put your teammates at risk. It might put your program at risk. So yes, it's something as dumb as tattoo. Yeah, it is really stupid. So why risk it? You want your legacy to be damaged over tattoos? So this is why I'm against this. This is why even Solomon Thomas and Boom Heron, who I like, and I like Terrell Pryor, I'm just saying he's hard to root for in this because like he was anti-establishment even during this. He was being very vocal against all this stuff. But my problem is you choose to not break the rules. You choose to break the rules. You're making a decision either way. And the guys that choose to not break the rules do it because it's what's best for them. It's what's best for your teammates, your head coach. Tressel maybe didn't know about it at the time. I think it was probably he was made aware of it at a certain point. But what coach is going to go out there and say, tattoo? They did it. Yep. No, coaches, they're for their guys, man. Like, and this was a tattoo cover up. This wasn't a Aaron Hernandez type deal or what have you. I'm not trying to make a joke of that. I'm just saying it wasn't anything major like that. But don't talk about we want our legacy to be restored so that Buckeye Nation can look at us with the same love and fondness we've always had for them. I think this is just about ego. I don't know what it is. I don't think so. If they turn this back, are fans going to cheer for them? They cheer for them anyways. Like,
if they gave them,
who benefits from that?
the school benefits from it. You know, we love our all-time winning records and all that type of stuff. We love to have those asterisks removed and everything like that. Some of those guys are All-Americans that season. So Buckeye Grove will be jumping. Like, it's a ton of things like that Ohio State could do with this as a football team. Like, you know, we welcome back Terrell Pryor, DeVere Posey, Solomon Thomas, Michael Adams, and Daniel Boom Herron to the Horseshoe. Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, like for a big game or something like that. All that type of stuff, like just saying it sounds silly, but do you know like the impact, the crowd, the whole selling of it, the whole theatrics of it, welcoming them back with open arms and things of that nature? Like, that's what this whole Buckeye Nation is supposed to be about. And if you do that, if the NCAA grants them that and restores them their wins and everything like that, it will be a big to-do in Buckeye country.
Well, let me say this then, because fans, okay, that, you know, you want to bring them back and be celebrated, but like the fans, let's say that there are fans out there who don't look at them for their, you know, legacy and stuff. Part of me is like, they shouldn't then. Yes, it was something really dumb like tattoos, but you selfishly chose tattoos over legacy. Now you want your legacy back. Sometimes you can't. Like, I just think that there's a lot of lessons to be learned in a lot of this stuff, even against dumb rules. Like, I know I sound all holier than thou with my approach to this, but at the end of the day, I think it would be foolish of the NCAA to overturn some of these, because the NCAA, honestly, and all their flaws, they should look at these guys and say, we've admitted that our rules were a little too aggressive and they had to be changed. Not by our decision, by the way. But the bottom line is the rules were in place. You knew the rules. You signed documentations being aware of all the compliance rules. And there's, you know, and it's like you show, like, I don't know, as a teammate, I'd be pissed at these guys. Fans should be mad at these guys. Fans should be mad. They should have been mad at Chase Young. Now, I would have been like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I get it. You want this girl to come watch you play, but like, this is a national championship contending team, and you risked all of that just to take a loan out to fly a girl. Like, I know those things sound really dumb, but that's why I'm even more mad, because it's not like you broke a rule because you had to. You didn't steal to feed your starving family. You just made a decision because you're a horny teenager. Like, well, I don't know what else to say. And then with this, you're just a young adult and you're a superstar, you're a rock star in Columbus. Right. And the opportunity was there. And instead of doing the right thing, you chose to not do the right thing. As dumb as it is, I don't know. Just actions have consequences, and I sound like a bumper sticker, but it is what it is. I do think that they will get these restored at some point, because as we've seen in the NCAA, they want to be locked in on stuff, but the pressure's getting to them. It's all about public perception right now. In the NCAA, there's not a PR team out there strong enough to fight for these guys. These guys, I mean, the NCAA has just managed to screw up so much this past year. And between almost every women's sport out there, you know, it's one thing to, you know, when you know that the perception is out there that women's sports don't get the respect that it deserves, you think you would do your best to try to give the illusion that you care about it. They go out of their way to prove to people they don't give a rip.
Right.
You know, between the volleyball tournament where they said, well, we'll put cameras in the gym and you can tune into the cameras as if it's some kind of, you know, security ring camera that you have at your house. They literally told volleyball families that, well, we'll have cameras in there, but no broadcasters. So you can at least tune in and watch the game that way. Because they said contractually, we don't have to provide you a play-by-play guy. You should want to, but they didn't. Then the simple things like the weight room for the women, and it wasn't even the weight room I thought was kind of dumb. They do send out a questionnaire, and they ask every team, would you use a weight room if we provided? And there was enough teams that did not give a strong enough response back to warrant going out of their way to putting one in. I was annoyed with that. That was dumb anyways, but the food quality, they got little TV dinners, the kind that you have to pull the film off, you know, or you poke holes in the film.
They eat that anyway.
Yeah, and it's just like so. And then you see the men's sports; they're over there just going through a Golden Corral buffet, and I'm just like they go out of their way to be done. Baseball, this is a men's sport, obviously, but and softball too for both. They were not allowing local media to cover anything. It was only for only the bigger networks. It's like they were not doing anything right. They were in the headlines almost every other postseason for these college athletics for screwing something up. It's like they go out of their way to mess things up. I can't stand it.
Yeah, the NCAA, they just know how to mess things up. I know for a lot of college football fanatics that have been in love with college football for a long time, they just see a ton of discrepancies on how things are handled. For for different universities, for different schools, for high profile guys and everything like that. And I'm not just talking about Ohio State. I remember this had to be in the to the early 90s. This is Nebraska, when Nebraska was rolling. They had a player by the name of Lawrence Phillips who was suspended for beating another female student at Nebraska, another student athlete. He did jail time during the season, but was eligible for the Orange Bowl. So it's just like when you've been watching college football for as long as I have, and you just remember like certain things that go on, like, yo, he went to jail for physically assaulting a woman and he was never suspended. So it's like, yes, those
he served his time.
Those incidents happened decades apart, but it's like, hold on, tattoos, beating a woman, suspended for a season, no punishment. It's just like things like that drive people crazy. I'm not saying they don't deserve a punishment. I'm not saying that at all. Like, hey, man, it's out of my hands. Like, what you want me to do? I could want you guys to have your stuff back, but ultimately, I don't think they're ever going to get it back. But it's those discrepancies that people have issue with, that everything that was going on at the University of Florida when Urban Meyer was there, not talking about Aaron Hernandez. There was tons of other things going on at the University of Florida. Like, I want to say there was like 20 arrests in a year span, like, and not just like some jaywalking or drinking and driving type of stuff, like typical college stuff, like physical assaulting, fights and things of that nature. So, and nothing happened, like, or minimal things happen. And then you look at a situation like this where I talked about AJ Green selling his jersey for $500 and he gets suspended for 5 games. Like, it's just like whenever it just seems like whenever there's
it's $100 a game. I'd solve a couple more of them things.
Whenever there's money involved, it seems like the NCAA stands up and said, no, you will not capitalize off your name, image, and likeness. You beat up somebody, you beat up a woman, it's okay. It appears that way. I'm not saying it's that way, but my biggest thing is the NCAA just has to have more of a uniformity about how they're going to be handling things. Like, you can't tell me that somebody being suspended for 10 games for tattoos and you're not suspended someone for going to jail for physically assaulting a woman are equally. It's just not equal. So that's where I think people get open arms about like this whole Tat 5 thing. Like, they can point to several instances where someone did something that was way worse than this and they got less time. So that's where I'm at with it. I just don't get it.
And I get that. And look, that's always the argument for everyone about, well, the NCAA. At what point do we hold people accountable for their decisions? Because me and you, we are held accountable for our decisions that we make. We don't get no preferential treatment.
Facts.
So, and it's not I'm jealous because they get preferential treatment. It's one of those things where it's like, me and you, we have in our lives, our jobs and everything, there are things that, we depend on for our everyday way of living. But these athletes, like, it is an honor to be a Division. I mean, I would have killed to be a D1 athlete. You would have. Anyone would have. Like, and not just to be a D1 athlete, like to be at an Ohio State. And that's a privilege to be there. It's a privilege to have this. I mean, you could say that, they're privileged to have you, but it's a privilege all the way around. Ohio State has built itself into a program that gets the best athletes out there, but the best athletes out there they've worked their entire life to build themselves up to be an athlete, a caliber athlete to be able to attend there. Mm-hmm. So with that, yes, there is more responsibilities for an athlete at a university that the average Joe Schmo at that same university probably doesn't have as much. If I make if I'm a random student who doesn't play sports and I get caught stealing or I get caught doing this and that decision impacted me. That you know what I mean? That impacts that person, that individual. But if I'm an athlete, my actions don't just hurt me. They hurt the fans. They hurt the team. They hurt the guys to the left and right of me. They hurt the coach. They hurt the program's reputation, everything. There's a ripple effect. So that comes with the territory. So that's why I don't always do the whole poor athlete thing, because it's like it's a privilege for them to be in that position to get all that comes with being that they've earned. But yes, there are things that come with that. And I do think that, yes, something as dumb as tattoos, you made a decision that doesn't just impact you. Random Joe Schmo Kinner over here, if he steals or does something stupid in college, that's on him. That was something that he did that screws himself. That, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't hurt anybody else. But when you're in a team environment when you have a big goal in hand, when you're in such a publicized team environment like Ohio State, like college athletics, yes, like there is more at stake than that. That's why I look at them as being more than I look at athletes sometimes as being more selfish than just the average Joe Schmo at a university, because when you make a bad decision, you're not just impacting yourself, you're impacting so many other people, to people you don't even know, like fans. Say, oh, the fans, they're ruthless, they're aggressive. Look, I'm not condoning violence from fans, racism from fans, but fans can think whatever the hell they want about you, because without the fans' interest in you, you're a nobody. So I have no problem if fans are a little too aggressive on their opinions of it. That player sucks. He does this. He does that. Racism? No. Throwing stuff at players? No. But everything else? Yes. I think the fans have that right to think what they want. I think that athletes are selfish more times than not whenever they make these decisions. Trust me, they didn't need to get the tattoo because they needed the tattoo. They wanted the tattoo.
Oh, they definitely wanted to.
So it's what it is. I think they'll get it back just because, perception is reality, and the reality is the pressure is going to be mounting on all this, on the NCAA stuff moving forward. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. When we come back, ESPN put out their top 10 running back list. There is a Cleveland Brown that's not on the list that I'm okay with. There are a couple running backs on this list I am not okay. I'm more upset with the honorable mentions than I am with the actual people that are on this list, Kev. There is Bengal representation, which is good. There is Browns representation, which is good. So we'll get to all of that on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 83. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, also with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low around 68. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 85. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
Brantley Gilbert returns to Ohio. Live in concert, Rose Music Center at the Heights, Friday, July 23rd. It's going to be one hell of a night with Brantley Gilbert. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. The album Fire and Brimstone is available to stream and download now. Check more at BrantleyGilbert.com.
What makes the perfect workout? Being able to ride, lift, and stretch in one place with motivating instructors.
Y'all look so good out there, Peloton.
Classes that always work around your busy summer schedule.
Push, Peloton. You've got 20 minutes of opportunity on this ride.
Instructor-curated playlists for every mood.
Let's turn it up. Come on.
Now what if you had it all? Right at home. The Peloton Bike. Nothing like working out from home. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
O'Reilly. Ready for your next road trip? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need to stay safe while traveling. Visibility on the road is so important and so easy to achieve. Get your windshield streak-free and crystal clear with Blue Magic Glass Cleaner. On sale now, 2 for $5. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
What if I told you you could save 50% off your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing your service? This is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, and I'm talking about H2O Wireless. If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much. Listen to this. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. That means the average person is probably saving $400 a year. You might use that to fund your emergency reserve fund or pay down some credit card bills or put some money in your retirement plan. And switching is so easy. You can keep your phone, keep your number. You just have to swap out your SIM card. You get the same great service you currently have, but at half the price. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O. That's pound 250 and say keyword get H2O to start saving today.
Looking to hire? Indeed will help you speed up the process. They have 135 skills tests to help you find the right candidates faster. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash with you on 1410 ESPN Radio. Want a little bracketology report?
Yeah! Never too early for some college hoops.
It's never too early for some college hoops. How about this? ESPN's Joe Lunardi in his way too early bracketology report. Who doesn't love bracketology in July, by the way? He has UCLA, Michigan, Kansas, and Gonzaga as his one seeds.
Yeah, Johnny Zane came back to UCLA.
So, I mean, good for little Cronin over there. His first four, because we should have the first four back. Not should. We will have the first four back at UD Arena this coming up here. This is a depressing one, actually. I'm glad that you could tell this is July bracketology. So, Morgan State and Nicholls State. Bryant and Prairie View A&M. Now, Virginia would be cool. So, you get Virginia and Colorado State as your 11s, and then BYU and Seton Hall. It's actually not terrible. Could be worse. Those are the teams you would see at UD Arena for the first four. So there's that. Virginia, obviously, Seton Hall, not bad. The one seeds, Kansas, Gonzaga, UCLA, and Michigan. Joe Lunardi's bracketology. I'm amazed. You still have over 1,500 damn players in the transfer portal, and Joe Lunardi's spitting out the this stuff. He does not have UD in this bracketology report right now. Look, we got to figure out who they are. We know the talent's there. We know what they're capable of, but it's just we need to reword that. We don't know what they're capable of. We know that the talent's there. We know how good a coach Anthony Grant is. We know when this team has the talent rolling, what AG can do with these guys, but we just got to see him put them all together first. Wright State is a 13th seed going up against Arkansas. So there's that. I just wanted an excuse to just say that Wright State's in a bracketology report in July. So there's that.
I like it a lot.
I like it, but I think Milwaukee got that 5-star kid.
Oh, that's right. Damn it.
So I'm just saying, Detroit's pretty good. Detroit's pretty, is what it is. So there's that. Okay. Found this list a little bit ago, ESPN. It's the dog days of summer, right? Like I said earlier, there's never anything to talk about. No. So this list, ESPN ranked the top 10 running backs in the National Football League. The number one running back is an easy one. That's Derrick Henry. I don't think anyone's going to get that wrong. I don't think anyone believes that it's anyone other than Derrick Henry. The most diehard Browns fans out there, you shouldn't believe that Nick Chubb is better than Derrick Henry, but it's a 1A, 1B situation. But with that being said, who would you put as number 2 on this list?
Oh, man. For me, it would have to be one or two guys. It would have to be...
All right, we got to hit some music. I was like, why is it so dry? Why is it so bleh?
Where's my NFL music?
It should be there.
Okay.
There we go. See, just relax. Calm down. We got this. All right. So ESPN's top 10 running backs list, and putting this list together for ESPN is Jeremy Fowler. We've had Jeremy Fowler on the show before. He used to be a Steelers beat writer, now covers all the NFL. And his top 10 running backs list in the NFL, Kev, Derrick Henry comes in at number 1. Number 2 is who?
It will have to be Kamara or Dalvin Cook.
Alvin Kamara comes in at number 2, and Dalvin Cook comes in at number 3. Now, what about number 4?
Do this!
Simpatico, you and Jeremy Fowler.
I'm going to cheat again. I'm going to say it will have to be either Christian McCaffrey or Nick Chubb.
So Nick Chubb is number 4, and Christian McCaffrey is number 5. I have to have a truth moment here. If Christian McCaffrey and Nick Chubb are both available, I don't know who I would pick. You can't go wrong with either.
Right.
But Christian McCaffrey brings so much more to the table than just the power running back that is Nick Chubb. I am surprised that they have Nick Chubb ranked at number 4 ahead of McCaffrey.
Well, he's coming off an injury too.
So, okay, there's something to be said about that. But let me ask you, the Steelers, you have McCaffrey and Chubb, 2 available free agents. Don't do what's best for the team, I guess, because I guess Chubb fits the Steelers. Like, that's the Steelers type of thing. But Le'Veon Bell, though, was the same.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I would go with Christian McCaffrey just because I automatically go back to my, when they were rolling, they had a running back that basically could line up in the slot as a wide receiver and, Le'Veon Bell. And that's what McCaffrey does. McCaffrey lines up, dots the I, gets big yardage that way, and said, hey, man, you know what? Line up in the slot, run some option routes like a slot receiver. He can do that, too. We haven't seen Nick Chubb can catch the ball out of the backfield, but catch the ball like a wide receiver, Christian McCaffrey does that.
Yeah, folks, I love the Browns fans. I love Nick Chubb. But by the way, you have one of any of these 5 running backs, you're fine.
Yes.
Me saying I would take McCaffrey over Chubb isn't like a slight at Chubb. But anyone after 5, that if I said I would take any of these guys over Chubb, then you can have a problem with it. I don't think I'm that crazy for saying I would take Christian McCaffrey over Nick Chubb. I just think he opens up the playbook a little bit with how you can use him. So one more time, just go through the top 5. Of course, Derrick Henry comes in at number 1, Kev. Number 2 is Alvin Kamara with the Saints. Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook, is that high? You had him there.
I think he's awesome. I think he's one of the few running backs that actually did what he did in college in the NFL. Like, he was breaking 50 and 60-yard runs in college. You don't see that in the NFL, but he does it. So I think his talent, his speed, his burst, his acceleration, as long as his hamstrings don't explode on him, he makes a long run like every single game. Like in the NFL, a 20-yard run is an explosive run, but he's popping 50, 60-yard runs. I think Dalvin Cook's a tremendous talent.
Thielen and Jefferson. You have those receivers.
Yes.
You have Dalvin Cook. The Vikings, they need a defense. They need a defense. You know who's like really holding their breath? You know who's the biggest Jordan Love fans in the world right now? The Vikings.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings are like, oh, we can get Aaron Rodgers out of here. We're set. We're golden.
Yes.
But the Vikings, it's the quarterback situation. And I'd have to believe that the way I look at the Vikings is the way a lot of anti-Browns people look at the Browns, where you look at the pieces are there. You don't like the quarterback. I like the Browns quarterback. Many don't. So the way I view the Vikings is probably how a lot of anti-Baker people look at the Cleveland Browns. So I definitely get that. So number 3 is Dalvin Cook on this top 10 running back list. Number 4 is Nick Chubb. Number 5, Christian McCaffrey. I don't think if you have any one of them 5, you are set at running back. I promise you that much. Who do you think comes in at number 6? I have a problem at number 6.
Now, this is where my list gets a little sketchy because I was like, well, these guys are definitely guaranteed to be on there, the top 5. Now we get sketchy because I'm running out of dudes. So I'm going to say number 6, Josh Jacobs.
So this list was put together by Jeremy Fowler. Kev has not taken a look at it. Usually with these lists, we try to guess it along the way and fill in the blank. Josh Jacobs is not in the top 10.
Okay.
So, but number 6, I'm telling you, you're going to have to take a few guesses before you. Oh, Josh Jacobs is number 10. So I'm sorry. My apologies. Josh Jacobs is number 10, but he's off the list. So we're at number 6. I don't like this individual at number 6. Saquon Barkley at number 6.
No way.
He had very productive rookie year and a half. But, injuries and the team that he plays on. And look, I wanted the Browns to take Saquon. I'm so glad I was wrong. They ended up with Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
The Browns made out just fine, obviously. And I like Saquon Barkley. He's a solid back. But the guys behind him, I have a problem with. So let me ask you this. Zeke Elliott or Saquon Barkley? Zeke comes in at number 7. Who do you want between those two?
Man, I'll take Saquon Barkley, man.
Over Zeke? I thought you were a Buckeye. Is that Florida State and you coming out, I see?
That is the Penn State. No, I just think that, man, that's tough because Saquon, the injury Saquon is coming off of was devastating. And everybody's saying, well, look what happened with Adrian Peterson when he came off the same injury. He rushed for 2,000 yards. I'm hopeful for Saquon that he can do that. But for me, I would take him over Zeke. Like, Zeke's got to show me something this year. He's got to show me something that he hasn't shown us since, he's playing on his rookie contract. And you bring it up all the time about his hunger before he got paid and his hunger after he got paid.
He's hungry after he got paid. He's just hungry in a different way.
So we need to see young Zeke again. We need to see that hunger from him instead of just to feed me every single time he touched the ball. Let's do something to earn that feed me thing, because he'll run for 3 yards and say, feed me, like 3 yards, bruh. Like it's 2nd and 7. You're behind the chains. So for me, Zeke isn't. He'll be 10 if I had to put him in my top 10.
So I would take Saquon over Zeke. I don't know if I'd have Saquon at 6, but I would take Saquon over Zeke.
Where's Zeke again? I'm sorry.
Zeke is at 7. I think Zeke's ranked too high. I have no problem with saying this. I don't think Zeke's a top 10 running back right now. He hates the Buckeyes, but I do not think he's a top 10 running back right now. For one, you got to punish lack of effort. And I just don't think Zeke tries. Last year should have been the year that they relied on him in Dak's absence. And he ended up, he had multiple games of under 100 yards on 15 plus attempts. You can't have that. That's not acceptable when you are a back that just a few years ago, and this is what drives me nuts about the media. All right, Jerry Jones is a pain in the ass. I get that. But Jerry Jones, he has to pay him. Like with Zeke, he didn't want to pay him. No one likes to pay running backs. It's not that crazy of a thing. Jerry Jones wasn't that crazy for not wanting to pay Zeke a few years ago. But he got pressured into it. All the ESPN analysts that did their stupid takes on how Jerry Jones is an idiot if he doesn't pay him, where are those guys now when Jerry Jones looks foolish for paying him now? Like, that's what I get tired of. Is like, we do this all the time. Well, this owner needs to pay him. They need to pay. Well, do we ever talk about the mistakes that on the player side when they don't live up to the contract, when the owners pay the big money? This is why owners drag their feet with contracts sometimes, is because we know what they are before. Running backs are more responsible. The quarterbacks usually get better as their careers go on. Running backs decline as their careers go on. In fact, usually you get the best of a running back in the first 4 years of their career. You usually pay him a ton, and then you don't get the most out of him after that. But Zeke Elliott comes in at number 7. I'm going to go through. Aaron Jones comes in at number 8.
I had him in my top 10.
I would put Aaron Jones ahead of Zeke. Who do you think comes in at number 9 now? So remember, Josh Jacobs comes in at 10.
Right. So this is like, I'm just going to say this. I know he's not, but I'm going to say Cam Akers.
Cam Akers should be in the top 10. I would take Cam Akers over Zeke. I would take Cam Akers over Aaron Jones. It's not a big gap there, but Cam Akers was explosive.
Who it is.
Joe Mixon.
Oh, it's Joe. Okay, that's fair.
I don't think Joe Mixon's a top 10 running back. I think that he had a top 10 running back type season 2 years ago. But, last year, of course, injuries.
Where's Jonathan Taylor then?
What's that?
Where's Jonathan Taylor?
He's not in the top 10. He's an honorable mention. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is honorable mention. I had him on my fantasy team. He was honorable mention to start the season. He was not honorable. I could barely find anyone to mention him by the end of the season. I'm not a fan.
When did he get hurt? He got hurt early, though, right?
Halfway point, because he won me a lot of games at the beginning. But about the halfway point, I had to trade for Nick Chubb, and then I started.
Somebody traded you, Nick Chubb?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine who their roster was beat up. God, who do they have that their roster was just torn to blank? I got because it's a keeper league. We keep 5 and then reset it every year. So he was like, running backs are easy to give it. You can get a good running back in the next draft, whatever. But Miles Sanders with the Eagles, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor with the Colts is honorable mention, and then Kareem Hunt coming in there, which doesn't surprise me. I would take Kareem Hunt over Joe Mixon. I would take Kareem Hunt over Ezekiel Elliott. The Zeke from the last 2 years. Zeke potentially has top 5 stuff. You know what I mean? Like he has, like if Zeke, let me say this to show him not being a homer when it comes to Nick Chubb. If Zeke was the Zeke from the first 4 years, now Nick Chubb might be at number 6 on this list because Zeke would have to be up there with at 4, with McCaffrey at 5, and then Chubb at 6. So that's all I got to say. I mean, look, I like Nick Chubb, I like Zeke, but Zeke has not been Zeke for the last 2 years. That's my problem with that.
For me, barring injury, Cam Akers and Jonathan Taylor are going to put up crazy numbers this year. I'm talking like 1,500 yards rushing for each, probably like 17 touchdowns for each. Something that we always forget when we're talking about running backs is the offensive line. And the Colts offensive line is next level, and so is the Rams offensive line. So those stretch plays that they're going to be running with Stafford and everything like that, Cam Akers is going to have a ton of lanes to run through, and Jonathan Taylor was already a beast as a rookie. So look for Jonathan Taylor and Cam Akers to break through big time this year.
Because Kenyon Drake was out with an injury for one game last year. He just fell short of 1,000. Melvin Gordon's really good. There's a lot of backs I would take over Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon and Zeke.
I wouldn't take
Gordon's
Kenyon Drake
old.
over. I wouldn't take Kenyon Drake over old buddy down the street.
Joe Mixon?
Yeah, no.
I'd take him. Miles Sanders.
But you would take him over Zeke, though, right?
Yeah.
So
Zeke, I'm not high on Zeke.
So it's bash Zeke hour.
I think tomorrow. So we're adjusting this. I think tomorrow we'll do a quick segment tomorrow of our top 10 running backs. I'm telling you, Zeke is not a top 10. He's not in my top 10 running backs list right now. But take your Buckeye fandom caps on, put your Cowboy hater hat on. Then I think I'd have more supporters. I think if you put your Buckeye hate or your Cowboy hater cap on, I think I'll have a lot more people agreeing with me. But I think that the homerism with Ohio State, people are angry. But Zeke has not been great. He's not been great.
But you know what? This is the crazy thing about it. You know who's not on that list? Leonard Fournette. He won himself a Super Bowl.
Yep. Oh, I mean, absolutely. But it also comes down to usage.
Yes.
For instance, I do believe Kareem Hunt would be a top 10 running back if he wasn't the B option to Nick Chubb. But I think you're going to see a lot more of this moving forward. You're going to see teams pick up 2 running backs.
Yeah.
You're going to see teams who are going to they're going to sign the guys that are outside of their rookie deal. And, like obviously a Leonard Fournette and guys like that, and then pair them up with the rookie. You know who I expect a big season out of this year? Travis Etienne. They're going to use him a ton because look, you look at the fact that Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a ton of weapons. He has okay weapons in Jacksonville. They're not great. I mean, I think that they're not any better or worse than what Joe Burrow had in Cincinnati last year. That offensive line is not great, but it's not as bad as what Joe Burrow had last year. So, and I think that Etienne will be better than Joe Mixon this year. So, look, Bengals fans get mad at me all you want. Where was he last year? What was going on last year? He was on week-to-week, day-to-day stuff in the midway point, and then all of a sudden he just vanished. The year before, where was he then? Like, you got to have to produce before you I know that he led the AFC in rushing a few years ago. Thank you, Le'Veon Bell for that, by the way. But who does that? Who brags about I led the AFC in rushing? Well, what about the whole league? Where'd you fall that day? Out of the top 5, right? Like, so I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Joe Mixon is good. He's solid. I love the pickup. He would have been the first running back taken in that draft had he not had the off the field situation, because he would have been taken above Fournette. There was a lot of, in that draft that year. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm talking about how they're producing right now. If Joe Mixon returns to that, then the Bengals are set. They're going to have to rely. I mean, he's going to get a lot of carries this year. We'll see. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll step away for a few minutes. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on the other side. I'll tell you about the TBT on WING. We'll take a look at the All-Star game tonight as we close the show out. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, enhanced starting wages, and a $500 signing bonus. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are strongly encouraged, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109 for an interview or apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
What if I told you you could save 50% off your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing your service? This is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, and I'm talking about H2O Wireless. If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much. Listen to this. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. That means the average person is probably saving $400 a year. You might use that to fund your emergency reserve fund or pay down some credit card bills or put some money in your retirement plan. And switching is so easy. You can keep your phone, keep your number. You just have to swap out your SIM card. You get the same great service you currently have, but at half the price. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O. That's pound 250 and say keyword get H2O to start saving today.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. So Pro Football Focus is doing one of these, who has the best wide receiver trio in the AFC North? And it has the Bengals against the Steelers. Now, around here, you're going to get, Bengals. Bengals right away. But let's break it down this way. If I was to tell you that these two players are free agents and you have to pick one or the other, who are you picking between Tyler Boyd and Chase Claypool?
Claypool.
I would agree. And Tyler Boyd's really good, by the way. You will not hear me say anything bad about him. Tyler Boyd's really, really good. One of the best slot receivers in the NFL. I like it. I like the big playmaking ability of Chase Claypool better. That's all. T. Higgins against Deontay Johnson. Right now, like not, and again, Bengals fans are going to make the mistake of trying to big picture. No, right now, as we head into the 2021 season, if I said T. Higgins is available, Kev, or you could spend your money on Deontay Johnson, who are you spending money on?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, not by a large margin, but I mean, I thought T. Higgins was solid last year. Not good, not great. Deontay Johnson, same thing. Not great, not he's good, not great. I think I think you're fine with either one, but T. Higgins, I think.
I think they're equally talented, but I'm going to go with the bigger receiver. I'm going to go with a dude that's 6'3" versus a dude that's 6 feet.
All right. Yeah. TikTok Schuster or Jamar Chase.
Well. Considering one guy has played in the NFL and one hasn't, I'm going to go with the dude that seems to be more talented.
For this coming up season,
I'm going to go with the dude that seems to be more talented. I'll go with Chase. I think he's more talented than Juju.
I don't know. Jamar Chase hasn't played in a year. Jamar Chase plays in an offense that everyone envisions is going to be this just Super Bowl type offense. Look, bottom line is that Jamar Chase has the capability to be really good, but I hate when we do rankings and we put rookie wide receivers and quarterbacks and running backs above guys who have played already.
Right.
I know exactly what I get with Juju Smith-Schuster. I wouldn't put him in my top fives of number one options in the NFL, but I don't know what the hell I get with Jamar Chase right now. I know what he is capable of in college. You said earlier about what was the running back you were talking about? Losing my mind for the Vikings. The Vikings. Dalvin Cook. That Dalvin Cook he's one of the few players you could think of that they were exactly who they were in college in the NFL.
Yeah.
You can't even say that about wide receivers. Right. Who is a wide receiver in the NFL today that was the same in college?
Man, that's tough. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Because it doesn't happen. Like, you got to understand, a lot of the star receivers in the NFL that are rookies this year, it's probably not going to be Jamar Chase. It should be, but it always doesn't end up like that. Like AJ Green in college, really, really good. Was he like that immediately? In the NFL, very solid start, but it wasn't like he was ready. So that's what I mean. Big picture.
He was a playmaker when he first got to the Bengals, for sure.
And I think Jamar Chase will make plays, but I don't think he's going to be, game's on the line, and we know what we get with him. I have to take Juju Smith-Schuster for this. That's why I kept emphasizing this upcoming season. I think if it meant signing him to a 3-4 year deal, Jamar Chase in a heartbeat, assuming that he lives up to the hype. But if we're talking about this season, I have a hard time going with. I would rather go with a veteran number 2 in Juju Smith-Schuster over a rookie potential number 1, because we did this last year with Ruggs and those guys, and Ruggs was not the most impressive wide receiver. Right. I mean, Jefferson wasn't being talked about as much coming out of college the way, so Jamar Chase is Ruggs to me.
That's fair. Not to try to crap on your thing, but what I would have did, I would have matched up Claypool and Chase, Juju and Tyler Boyd, since they both play the same slot position, and Johnson and Higgins since they play on the outside. That's only now.
So you're saying Claypool, and I went down to like how they had him paired, but Claypool, you're number one.
They had them paired like that. That doesn't make any sense.
They had Boyd and Claypool, T. Higgins and Johnson, and then Chase and Schuster. But
no, because
from playmaking ability, Claypool I'll take over Chase.
Yeah.
Schuster I'll take over Boyd.
Yes.
And then we'll give him T.
and I'm not trying to crap on the Bengals, but like that's how they're going to line up. They're going to line up with Claypool on the outside, Johnson on the outside, and Juju in the slot. That's how they're going to line up with the Bengals. Chase and Higgins are going to be on the outside and Boyd is going to be in the slot. So the slot receiver, Juju, is better slot receiver than Tyler Boyd. On the outside, I'm going to take Claypool before I take Higgins or Chase. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to make a big deal about it, but like if it was structured like that, I would go 2-1 Steelers as opposed to the other way around. But hey, black and yellow.
But yeah, so I mean, that's why at this point, when I was, pairing this up, okay, let's do the Browns and then the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
OBJ, Jamar Chase. They represent the same.
OBJ.
Tyler Boyd and Jarvis Landry.
Boyd.
Okay.
No.
They both remind me of one another. They're both very similar. They both have had to be the number one when they're not the number one, but they've been a very good, solid option at number one if need be.
Right.
My homerism is going to step in here and say Jarvis Landry, but Jarvis clicks with Cleveland really well. I mean, like I said, Jarvis is to Cleveland what Boyd is to Cincinnati. They just click. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to pick Jarvis over Tyler Boyd. I'm going to pick OBJ over Jamar Chase in that situation. And then I'm going to pick T. Higgins over the third option for the Browns, and that's going to be their Higgins. But Baker makes that Higgins who he is. Like, I don't know how good Higgins is with anybody else. The Browns can't even explain. They didn't even want to bring Higgins back, but they had to because for whatever damn reason, Baker knows how to throw it to him and can't figure out how to throw it to OBJ. Right. That's what's crazy to me. So there, as far as that goes. Now, as far as Pittsburgh and Cleveland, OBJ, Claypool. In the situations at hand, Claypool has been better for Pittsburgh in 1 year than OBJ has been for Cleveland in 2. I wouldn't judge you if you said Claypool over OBJ. My gut's saying to pick OBJ because of his name, right? Like, I think that's where I'm kind of running into that roadblock. I would pick OBJ, or I would pick Claypool over OBJ, but I would still feel weird doing that.
Right. It just sounds crazy. I think I would say Claypool. Because I'm going to throw in the fact that he's coming off a knee injury and everything like that. And, when things finally start looking like they were going to be clicking with the Browns, with him in the lineup as well, because like people, like even myself, talked about how, Baker looks better without him. Well, people are forgetting that game that OBJ had versus the Cowboys. Not only did he catch a pass from Baker, he had a reverse, he had a touchdown catch from Jarvis as well. Like, he had a lot of explosive plays, and so did Claypool. So I'm gonna just say Claypool.
I'll go with Claypool as well. Not by I'm sorry, I'm picking OBJ, but I don't think you're wrong going with Claypool either. And then I think this one's pretty. Juju Smith-Schuster. Did we already say? Hold up. So I said OBJ and Chase Claypool. So now Jarvis Landry and Juju. I'm picking Juju.
Me too. I think it's crazy because these slot receivers are pretty good. Juju, Tyler Boyd, and Jarvis. Like
the AFC North. Even the Ravens. They just got. Who did they just get? It was a nice pickup from the Chiefs. He was a good slot receiver. Sammy Watkins. I don't think he's better than the other three guys but that's right. I mean, if that's your worst slot receiver in the North, I mean, that's pretty good too. But yeah, there you go. So, and then you have Devontae Johnson going up against Higgins for the Browns. I'm taking Johnson. But again, there's something about Higgins and Baker that seems to click. I don't know if Higgins in Pittsburgh works.
Right.
We just don't know. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of strange. The bottom line is I did this on purpose because Bengals fans are acting like they have the clear number one wide receiving core in the AFC North, and they don't. I don't know who does, but if I had to rank them, Kev,
because you got
Pittsburgh.
Real quick, we'll go on the Ravens real quick. You got Hollywood Brown, Sammy Watkins, and Rashad Bateman. Just to finish it.
2 2s and a 3. They don't have a number one. Their number one is Watkins. That's why they signed him. But, they tried to get some bigger, wide receivers out there. If I had to rank the wide receiving core in the AFC North, Pittsburgh's 1, Cleveland 2, Cincinnati 3, Ravens 4.
I can get down with that.
So, see, Bengals, I didn't put you last. I'm a homer. I'm getting soft on the Bengals over here. All right, All-Star game tonight. The American League has won how many straight? The last time the National League has won an All-Star game was all the way back in 2012. Does that streak end tonight?
No.
It does end tonight. Castellanos, Jesse Winker. Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker, baby. They're going to over-under a home run between one of those two.
Under.
A half a home run. So I'm going to say over because one of them is getting a homer. Castellanos, baby. A big night for them. The National League's winning tonight. Book it. Have a good night.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with